Welcome to Perpetual Backlog Podcast, your gaming podcast that is now tired of recording every single day this week. I'm your host, Aqua, who I now hate covering E3. Joining me like usual is Dalit.
I don't hate E3, but I am tired.
And Leek.
It's usually like daytime for me, so I'm fine.
So D3 did happen this week. We're bringing on a guest to talk about all that was shown. You've seen him on one of our 14 related episodes or like reactions. EvanVelez. How you doing, Evan?
I'm doing well. Unlike you guys, I haven't covered an E3 in like 6 years, so I'm ready to go.
Since you did drop on us that you've actually never heard listened to our podcast, this is the this is the order and stuff that we go.
Hey, to be fair, I've listened to half of one of your podcasts.
Okay, well, that's fair. We talk about games that we've played this week, and then sometimes we have a question from Little, which we don't this week, so we can get to go straight into covering all of the non-announcements that we got at E3 this past week.
Yeah.
Since you're the guest, what have you been playing this week, Evan?
Well, I hate myself, so I've been doing big fishing and triple triad in Final Fantasy 14. Last week we got Stone Legion Mythic down in WoW. We started Sire Denathrius this week. And as far as like other games are concerned, I'm kind of laying off because the next big release is Disgaea, and that comes out in about a week and a half. And that's a game that you put a lot of time into. So I'm just kind of trying to take things easy and then jump into that and no life it for a while. So that's about it, though.
Hey guys, don't forget to sub to the channel if you're into what you're hearing. While you're down there, remember to like the video as much as we like you. You'll be good now.
Are you gonna go for 999,999,999 level?
I had to stop playing the demo because my characters are all like level 4,000. So
Oh, goodness, yeah, this man is prepared.
Yeah.
God, then you got item world on top of that too. Fucking hell.
I from what I've seen, like the damage is like uncapped in that game. I've seen people like hit for like 20 million damage in Disgaea 6.
There's a content creator, Primal Liquid. He already figured out how to hit max level in one fight. The dude's a monster.
Jesus Christ!
In one fight. Okay.
In one fight.
Okay. Yeah,
Holy shit! Yeah.
It only requires like 300 hours of work to do.
Only.
Only. Whatever. It only takes about what I put into 3 games.
Yeah, it's no big deal, man. It's no big deal.
That's the guy's played a multiple Final Fantasy 7 file, so.
Oh yeah. I have multiple Final Fantasy 7 files, and normally I get to level. I get to max level before I even leave Midgar.
Do you?
Yeah. Because there's one spot in Midgar where you can grind for an eternity.
Huh.
Well, I'll be. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's you know the spot in the railroad tracks, like in the under railroad tracks where the people keep coming out of that one door.
Yeah.
You can literally just sit there. You can literally just sit there and grind for like ever.
So it's like river farming in 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Couldn't do it though. I'd be bored stiff.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's actually not that bad. They actually give a decent amount of experience, and then you don't start getting diminishing returns until you hit about 50.
Yeah, but you can beat that game at like level nothing.
You could beat that game at level 1 because you could just do the Yuffie skip and get to the end of the game in like less than 3 hours.
Are we going to talk about your Yuffie skip? So
no,
to speak?
No.
We're
good. Well, Leek and Dollar, what did you play this week? If you played anything at all this week.
Oh, you go first.
Things are playing. I managed to finally have time to sit down and do Guilty Gear, and Leek was ever so kind to kick my butt. So
yay! Well,
Yeah.
except when I was Potemkin. I fucking cannot play him. I need to
mean-
practice. I'm determined to get Potemkin down, but it was very frustrating when inputs are not acknowledging I inputted them.
Wasn't
Grumble,
frustrating for
grumble.
me.
He's really slow, but it's good. Yeah.
Outside of that, I played Monster Hunter again. They came with me, and I think we did it with Shell and Ali.
Makes sense.
And I don't. Oh, of course, yeah. I played New Genesis. I finally started New Genesis, and that's really nice. And now that I have a working controller for it, I'll be able to play the class I want to play. So I'm really enjoying it. It's really, I mean, I think it's better than old PSO2, but I also think that's because this is realistically PSO3. But hey,
Yeah.
I take those.
And as mentioned, I played Gear as well, but we came into a couple of things that were puzzling to me. Like
Yeah,
in
that's
the
fair.
actual lobby, were like other players, not just me and Dollet were there. That we could play just fine. I mean, there was some like hiccups in the connection, but it was fine. But when we tried to make our own room with just me and him, which you can do now, we could not connect to each other.
Yeah, no, just would not let
It's
us fight
fucking
each other.
weird. You'd expect it to be the other way around, but no.
It's
Yeah,
peer to peer, right?
Yeah,
maybe
it's still a
is
fighting
it?
game at the end of the day.
One of your nats might be restricted.
Maybe that's
I'd be
it.
inclined to believe that, except that it's not a problem outside of that room setup.
Mm.
Well,
If it
because
was-
when you're in that room setup, like the when you're in with other people, it's leeching off of other people's internets and not just specifically yours. You're like
It-
either you two. I have this problem when I play with Imperius all the time.
Okay.
Don't
Our
they just
internets
know
don't
them?
like each other specifically.
Huh.
I don't think that's true though, because they don't matter until you challenge them. That's
Hmm.
when it becomes a connected. Well, maybe I don't know. I actually don't know enough to be talking eloquently about that.
No, I don't.
so-
I don't know enough about networking either. I just
Yeah.
Well,
Besides
What
that-
it was weird.
Hmm?
I'm something of a network expert. You want me to explain it to you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
go on.
Yeah,
you
sure,
know
yeah.
that, right?
you have it on
I
good
will- I
authority,
will.
right?
I wouldn't do it. I don't want to make you guys feel, like you don't know what I'm talking about. It's
No, I
Actually,
don't know. Tell
appreciate
me.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a
Knowledge.
lot of complicated things. There's a lot of wires and
Yeah.
and tubes, and it's
Yeah.
okay. Don't even worry about it.
Okay.
Just know that he has it on good authority that he
Yeah, I have it on
knows.
good authority. My dad is John Internet, so I
Oh,
know.
wow. Amazing.
Wow,
We're in
the
the
John
in.
Internet.
Yeah, well, so besides that though, I watched Guilty Gear the anime as well.
No joke.
The story mode is just a movie you can watch essentially with chapters. So I did that. That was fun. Yeah. Yeah, the story isn't in the gameplay anymore. It's standalone. So you just watch it separately. So
that's
yeah.
good.
Yeah. So just get some popcorn and a drink and just sit back. And each chapter is quite long too, so there's lots to go
Mhm.
through.
Mhm.
I actually tried out Fantasy Star on PS4 because I'm in Japan and it's on PS4 there. And yeah, I made a gigantic robot. It was great.
God, it's so.
I exaggerated all the limbs and stuff like that, so it looks stupid. It's got a big massive hat on. gave it a very cute voice. Because I did, of course I did. Yeah, Monster Hunter, yada yada. I've done that too. I think that was it for me. What else? Yeah, that was it for me, honestly.
All right. I played a lot of games this week because I'm an idiot.
Hmm.
And
tell?
game companies hate. Obviously, I played New Genesis. I'm not touching that, and I'm not touching that again until they fix the lag issue that's in New Genesis.
Yeah, at times it was rough.
I've been playing a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. That runs extremely well on a PS5.
What's your thoughts on that?
It runs extremely well. I mean, it's still 7 or it's still 7.
Yeah,
It's just
but
Yeah.
very
you know.
doors are not JPEGs anymore.
Ah,
Hey Aqua, don't you
Yeah.
have a Let's Play video on YouTube?
Yeah. No. I
Oh,
have.
look at that! What?
well,
I do.
not
I
everybody
am.
gets to watch
Yeah, I am doing a let's play of it.
it. Okay.
I just got. I'm towards the end of chapter 3. I was recording earlier today for chapter 3, and I forgot
Yeah.
that chapter is actually pretty long.
Oh.
So I'm like right before the whole riding motorcycles with Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge.
Oh yes, yes.
It's such
section.
a solid part of that game.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun that bit. Yeah.
But I'll be rendering that at least tonight, and I'll probably upload it tomorrow.
Okay. Have you started any fun times with Yuffie yet?
No, I haven't. I'm waiting. I am waiting until the end of, and I'm waiting to get through all of Intergrade first to jump into the UC DLC.
Yeah, that was what my question was directed at. I've seen all of
Yeah.
the remake itself though. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I know there's a new cutscene at the end of Intergrade.
But is that to do with beating
No,
the Intergrade
it's
story?
no,
It's to do with beating Yuffie's.
that has to do with beating Intergrade.
Okay.
You can literally start up chapter 17 and go straight to the end and get the secret ending.
You don't. Well, I have a platinum in the main game, so I know what I'm doing. All right.
Yeah, so you don't have to play through the whole game. You can just load up the chapter 17 and play from there to the end.
Cool.
Cool.
Very good to know.
But I'm wanting to play through the whole thing to see like all the cool shit.
Yeah. Of course.
Cinematic cutscenes are
if-
still 30.
Okay.
Oh, what? What were you saying, Lee?
The map, the 2D plane map of Midgar from the reactor. I want to know if that's.
Yeah.
It's still the same.
Is it still?
It's still the same. It's still the
Oh
same.
no!
The sky is still a JPEG.
Oh no!
But the
Okay.
doors are not JPEGs anymore, and
Hey, at
they don't
least
have they don't have terrible pop-ins. They're actually doors. Cutscenes are 30 frames, but I'm assuming that's because it was made for the PS4, intended for the PS4, so they're not gonna touch the pre-rendered cutscenes.
I
So-
mean, here's a hot take on cutscenes, though. I don't think cutscenes need to be above 30.
No,
Mostly just
they
because-
don't.
Yeah, mostly just because it's more cinematic.
It's cinematic,
You
yeah.
console players, okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. There we go. Thanks, Evan.
Yeah,
Making me
friends,
feel self-conscious now.
No, I think gameplay needs to be 60, 100%. But I could care less about cutscenes. But that's really good. I'm going through that slowly, and I'll get through that at some point in time. I also got Ratchet and Clank for the PS5.
Oh, so you started?
Yeah. Oh, I'm probably almost at the end of the game. Honestly,
Oh,
that game's
well,
not
you
very
started.
long. Yeah, that game's not
Oh,
very
okay.
long.
Okay.
How many stars out of 10?
Oh, if Horizon Zero Dawn isn't like super fucking amazing and doesn't come out within time for Game of the Year, this is making Game of the Year.
Ah.
Oh wow, yeah. High praise.
Yeah,
from
There's
Aqua.
there's no like Evan said it on my stream the other day. He goes, his friend said, Ratchet and Clank games are good, but they're usually never Game of the Year good. This is different. This game is Game of the
Oh.
Year good. This game is Game of the
Okay,
Year
that's
good.
Cool.
You're on
Ooh.
the same boat as Hip Hop Gamer. He said it's probably one of the best games he's played in years at this point.
Yeah, it's actually I don't like I don't usually play Ratchet and Clank games. I'm more of a Jack and Daxter fan.
I haven't liked Jack and Daxter since the first one.
But this game is. What was funny is that people from Insomniac said this game only scratches the surface of what the PS5 can do, and it's ridiculous. Some of the set pieces in this game where you're grinding the rails and you're having to swap between dimensions while grinding
Yes.
rails. It's fucking ridiculous.
No, that's really cool. I'm actually really happy to hear you talk about the game as a general experience. I think a lot of the praise has been put on like the fidelity of like the graphics and all of that, and that's fantastic. And don't get me wrong, it's fantastic. But it's good to hear that the game surrounding that isn't just good; it's Game of the Year good.
No, yeah, it's definitely like. Like there's caveats to that because I mean you obviously have game companies that are working on these big blockbuster games that are going to come out for PS5, which are Horizon Forbidden West, and then God of War, which I'm actually kind of after watching Nintendo, and if Breath of the Wild does come out next year, I kind of feel bad for Horizon and God of War because it doesn't matter how good those games are, they're not going to beat Breath of the Wild 2 because fucking Nintendo fanboys.
It's true. Breath of the Wild is a great game. I don't know that it, strictly speaking, should be able to stand up to games like God of War and Horizon and potentially Elden Ring, depending on how that shapes up.
Yeah. Nintendo fanboys tend to be like Star Wars fans, where for like decades they were like, "Oh, those prequels are terrible," and then like 2 years ago, everyone's like, "Dude, the prequels are pretty good." That's how it is with like Zelda games. They're like Skyward Sword, terrible game, and then people now they're like, "You know what? No, maybe I remember Skyward Sword is pretty good. It's a pretty good game," and you're like, I don't know, guys. I don't know.
They are wrong. They had it right
Um,
the first time.
but yeah, from what I've been seeing, like, so Horizon Forbidden West is still slated for this year, but it's going to be a holiday. It's going to definitely come out after the cutoff for Game of the Year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Her Halo Infinite is already slated for after the cutoff for Game of the Year. God of War has already been announced that it's going to come out in 2020. Elden Ring's already in 2022. Elden Ring's already in 2022. Breath of the Wild is already, and I'm putting air quotes here, 2022, because they said they're aiming for it, which means it might be slated for like holiday 2022, which will be Game of the Year 2023. No, Ratchet and Clank has nothing it's going up against right now.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier this week, and I just can't think of anything that came out this year, and B that came out this year to such a degree that it would be Game of the Year material.
Closest thing is Rise.
Rise. Oh, Monster Hunter Rise. Yeah. I agree.
Closest thing is Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah, sadly, even if Tales of Arise is amazing, it's just way too niche to be a Game of the Year. So.
Yeah.
That's pretty heartbreaking to hear, but it is the truth.
And Tales of Arise is going to be fucking amazing. So
it looks so good.
And then the last thing I played this week was actually half of the day today, because I went through it about 3 or 4 times, was the Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin demo.
Oh, thank goodness. I was going to ask you about that.
Okay, so I uploaded my first playthrough of it, all right? It took me 2 hours to beat because I suck dick at, like, action RPGs. The trailer, the way they marketed this game, Sunday, complete ass.
Yeah.
All right. They did not do this game justice. This game is fucking amazing. Whoever made the idea for this game deserves a fucking raise.
Well, hold on. You'll have to wait until we talk about it to really sell us on that, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay. So by idea of the game, I don't mean Tetsuya Nomura being like, dude, we should make a Souls-like Final Fantasy game. No, I mean the person at Team Ninja that decided, hey, maybe we should do this to like, push that it's like a Final Fantasy 1 remake. The way that game plays is fucking phenomenal. All right, you get to swap jobs. You get to pick your different weapons. The biggest problem I have with the game is when you're playing Black Mage, and you have to swap through the magic wheel.
I see. Is it clunky?
That thing, it's not clunky. It's too responsive, is what it is.
Oh, I see.
It's way too responsive because I'm like trying to swap over from like fire to water or whatever, which is like on the almost the complete opposite end of the wheel or whatever, and I almost always hit earth or quake, whatever. I think it's way.
Okay.
I think it's way too. I think it needs to be easier to lock in what magic you want to do.
I see.
The demo, if you're really good at these types of games, the demo's probably 30 minutes to an hour. If you're like me, you'll get stuck on chaos for like
Yeah, I watched
for like
your
an hour.
video, and it was like, wait, it's quite a long demo. Skip ahead. Oh no, oh, he's still fighting this guy. I
Also,
see.
so after I beat him the first time, I went through it
Yeah.
subsequent times or whatever.
Yeah.
My second run of that game, where I actually restarted it, because like so after you beat it, you can carry over all the stuff that you got in your first playthrough into another playthrough, or whatever.
Okay, that's
I started fresh.
sure.
Mhm.
I beat Garland without advancing my jobs.
Spoodlers, Garland's the final boss.
I mean, this is the beginning of the game, so he's the first boss.
No, wait.
Yeah.
So the nameplate on the boss is chaos ?
Question
There's
mark,
a question mark.
Yeah, because I am to
Jack's
become
wrong.
chaos. Yeah.
He has to go back 2,000 years to become chaos, technically. Right?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and I think that was something that they dropped the ball on, because when they announced it initially, they said, "Oh, it's a Final Fantasy 1 story." So I was thinking, "Oh, maybe it's like a story that takes place between the time, some point between the time where chaos
Yeah.
exists and where Garland exists, like sometime in that like 2,000-year window." But
Mhm.
from what you made it sound like, it's just a one remake essentially. And I
Yeah,
wish that
that's
they
what
were
it feels
more
like.
clear with how they talked about that. Because a one remake like that, hell yeah, I'm all about that. Like a true one remake in JRPG format, I feel like it's like remaking Dragon Quest One. The game itself is too superficial
nothing
and
there.
short to
Yeah.
make it worth anything as
Yeah.
like a full-fledged like 80-hour experience,
But turning it into an action RPG,
Yeah, exactly. It'd be 10 hours and you're like, oh, fine, perfect, beautiful.
it's so good. So you start off as a swordsman. You walk in, you have your big ass sword or whatever, and if you get enough job points, you can advance out to warrior. After you get to the advanced classes, your advanced class or your advanced job can use any weapon. So like, I mean, you could be a warrior with a mace.
Okay.
Or you can be you end up picking up a hermit club, which gets you the caster, or the mage class, which advances into black mage, and then you pick up a halberd, which gives you the lancer job that advances into dragoon.
Well, I know where I'm going first.
Yeah, that's actually sick too, because those are jobs that there's no dragoon in Final Fantasy 1, so
Yeah.
so it expands upon that and kind of brings in a little bit more of the like Final Fantasy nostalgia, of like classes that
Yeah, this
Yeah.
kind of stuff I'm all about. I think that's grand. I kind of
You're able to equip 2 jobs.
Okay,
right.
subclasses, nice.
Well, no. What I mean is that you're able to swap between 2 jobs mid gameplay.
Oh, even better.
So you have your, like, say you're doing warrior black mage, right? So you have your warrior set, you have your black mage set. You hit R2 and it swaps between playing either as a warrior or as a black mage.
Cool.
And that extends into doing instant ability combos, where you can, like, you're in the middle of a combo with a warrior and you can hit R2 and it swaps you over to black mage and you can do your instant abilities there.
Ooh.
Throughout your skill tree, or not your skill tree, but throughout your like job tree, you can get combos. So people that know me, I don't read. All right. So
Huh.
I didn't equip any combos to anything. So there was a whole subsection of this game I didn't even touch.
Amazing.
And I still went through normal mode Garland at like level 17 warrior.
So actually, I do have a question for you, because now that you've played in Intergrade and you've played this, right? And like Final Fantasy 7, they essentially that's in-house, them doing most of the combat and stuff like that, even though they had outsourced it originally and then scrapped all that. But when you have that combat compared to the Neo guys doing this game, like how much better? If you had to compare one to the other, what would it be? Like from
I would have rather
one to
them
10?
to outsource the 7 remake to like Team
Yeah,
Ninja.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it feels so much better. It's way more intuitive. In 7 Remake, I'm just spamming square, and I'm like, I mean, and honestly, because I play Tifa, that's the most engaging gameplay you get in 7 Remake. Because you're able to combo your like all of her fucking like martial abilities with that shit. No, I would have much rather them outsource 7 Remake or like kept it being outsourced to CyberConnect 2. CyberConnect 2 makes okay games.
I think you're being a bit disingenuous to the battle system in 7, but
7's battle
your
system's okay.
but your
It's
overall
okay.
thought, I think, is correct. I think a team that's better about action-oriented gameplay would probably have done a better job. Yeah.
People that have PS5s. Actually, the great thing about this game, it's all platforms except for the Switch. So, if you have PC, you can play it on PC. If you have last generation consoles like a PS4 or Xbox One, you can play it then. If you have obviously newer generation consoles, you can play it on them. I would probably suggest playing it on a PC or a newer generation console because, let me tell you, this demo, while it is an alpha, obviously stuff will change, optimizations will change. You did not have any optimization options in this game, in this demo. You could not change any of your graphics settings or anything like that. There were parts where it did kind of chug. So it was not at 60. So
one thing that I want to change is that awful face that they gave us to play.
So I'll go back on what I said last over the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna put in a character creator.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Now,
this is the story of an angry man.
Yeah, I think
That's
they
cool.
might. I think they might see the outrage about it and maybe put in some customization options for Jack. I don't think you'll be able to like swap genders or anything like that.
No, and I never did, but I did think that maybe you could adjust his.
No, you
can't see it, but
through
his face.
after the tutorial, it throws you right into the gates of Chaos' Shrine.
Yeah, so
I
hopefully,
mean, that's never going to be the actual start, but still.
No, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully the main character gets better clothes, right? Because wasn't that the meme? His T-shirt, everyone's getting on him about his T-shirt.
The gear you get
Oh,
does
They look
change.
like them. That's good. Yeah. I saw
Yeah.
you changing a lot actually.
You look like
His-
Edgelord McEdgelord.
Uh,
Yeah, I've seen a couple of the alternate outfits, but the loot drops. But I don't know, man. There'll be more in the main game, which I'm very pleased about. But I'm still not 100% on the aesthetic they've chosen.
There's nothing like rolling up the garland with a bandana on, man.
I actually do have to. I do have to ask Aqua.
Yeah.
So Final Fantasy 1, the way it starts off, you start in the castle, you go through the town and everything like that. Does this demo literally just start at like I'm assuming it starts at what I forgot what it's called, Shrine of the
Shrine of Chaos. Shrine.
Yeah, I remember.
Starts you right there at the gates.
Starts you right there, and so it has that like almost like a more of a castle-y look than okay, interesting.
Well, it's not even a castle look. This thing literally looks like, a Dark Souls area. Like if you had to think of a dark and dreary like occult worshipping place, this is what this place looked like.
The first level of Demon Souls.
Yeah.
I actually
have the castle.
Yeah. I have a couple of other questions. Sorry, I'm a huge Final Fantasy 1 fan, so it's like
no. Go ahead. This is what the section's for.
Okay, so in Final Fantasy 1, you go into the shrine, and it's literally a straight path to a door, and Garland's in there, and then there are 4 rooms. How close is it to that in this game?
Okay, so it's not so it is a straight path pretty much. It's not like straight as in like you go straight, all right? But you are set on one path, all right? There's no divulging or like diverting around or anywhere. There is actually a hallway where there's a bunch of bombs and whatever, and the game wants you to go off into the side of this outside area to fight goblins instead of fighting all these bombs. But if you're
Yeah.
smart, one of the mechanics in this game is called Soul Shield. All right, it's pretty much your parry mechanic. But if you use it on certain abilities from enemies, you actually steal that ability and get the chuck it right back at them or whatever.
Yes,
so if a goblin, a goblin will throw a stone at you, you get 2 stones you can throw back.
A
bomb will shoot a fireball at you. Yeah, a bomb will shoot a fireball at you. You can shoot 2 fireballs back. All right. Now you can continuously do that, and 3 hits from fire to a bomb, will immediately make it self-destruct.
Yeah.
So you can honestly just go through that hallway, doing the soul shield or whatever, and just making all the bombs, and you get experience for it too. So you level up fucking super quick for it.
It's not that they didn't want you to go through. You're just presented with 2 options.
It makes it feel like you don't want it. It makes it feel like they want you to go another way, because like right after that is when you get the hermit club, which gives you the mage, which allows you to to throw water at them.
Sure.
Okay.
So like you go in, you're in the first area, you have to go around a bunch of rubble, you go upstairs, then you go through the hallway with the bombs, and then you end up back on the second floor of the first area you were in. That unlocks a shortcut. You go around to the outside, and you end up into this like open courtyard thing in the middle where there's a bunch of wolves in there. You fight the wolves, and then you end up back outside, which goes to the area where in the cutscene you see the big tower knocked down or whatever onto the like the middle part of like the castle or the shrine or whatever. You walk above that, you walk on that tower, and then you end up in the room that you explained earlier, where it's just this giant open room with the big door at the end, and there's 4 rooms on the 2 on each side. You can go.
So they added an outside area to the shrine in this game. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, before it was literally just that one room in the castle surrounded by forests. So.
One room has a chest that has the key to open up the door to Garland. So you go in there and you grab the key, and then you have to fight a couple of enemies, because enemies will spawn and attack you as you're about to leave that room. The room onto the right of the door to Garland, there's an armored griffin in that room. You see it in the trailer.
Yeah, it's the one that he parries and throws his gust move back at.
Yeah. You can fight that if you want. That's optional. And then you go open the door, and then there's the bonfire cube or whatever right next to the door to Garland. And then you go in.
A what?
It's called a cube, but it's essentially the bonfire.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
So question. When you're fighting, there's a lot of crystal effects happening. Is there any hint about what the fuck that is? So
that's called Soul Burst.
Okay.
When you drain the break gauge, which is the yellow bar that's under the enemy's health, you do pretty much like a glory kill on the enemy. You turn it to crystal and you break it apart. That refills some of your MP.
Okay.
It is like a glory kill. Okay.
Yeah. That's a good gameplay loop mechanic, because you'll use MP to kill people, because pretty much everything calls MP. Sure. Other than basic attacking. So you spend MP to kill enemies, you do glory kill, get MP back.
Okay, so it's like using the chainsaw in Doom Eternal to get ammo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of an interesting gameplay loop, honestly.
Go in, you fight Garland. You walk up to him and you're like, I'm here to kill chaos. You walk in and he's like, and they're like, Jack is like, chaos, And he goes, "No, I am." Garland goes, "No, I am to become him." And then he steps up, and then you hear the and then like Jack goes, "We're here to kill chaos," and the Prompto looking motherfucker, I forget what his name is.
Ninja?
Yeah, the ninja.
No, Ninja. People took the picture and put Ninja next to it. That guy?
The
No.
streaming ninja.
The main character is Jack. I believe Prompto is Jade, and
Okay.
Ash is the unique looking character.
Wow, they really dropped the ball in not giving Jade green hair.
Maybe it's Jade. Maybe I misheard. I think it's Jade.
Did you do a chaos counter? Did you count how many times it was said?
No, I didn't do a chaos counter.
Was even the point?
Does he randomly shout like chaos when he's killing?
No,
Chaos.
they don't. No, they don't randomly shout chaos.
What's even the point there too? If you're gonna go,
No,
might as well go all in.
All of the lines you heard him say chaos in the trailer, pretty much happened in pretty much those are the only times they actually say chaos.
I'm slightly disappointed.
Yeah,
I'm slightly disappointed. I hope he's gonna be super edgy guy. Obsessed.
Your guy goes, "I'm here to kill chaos," and then Jade's like, "Yeah, we're the warriors of light," and fucking Garland's like, "Oh," and then you hear I guess Jade remembering Princess Sarah saying, "And he wore such amazing armor with the helmet that was terrifying or whatever," and he goes, "Oh, you're Garland." And he goes, "No, I'm to become chaos," and then you fight him.
I was going to ask actually if Sarah made an appearance in this.
No, just the voice.
Okay.
So actually, because Evan, you remember, as I recall, in the original, we're there to get Sarah back. We don't know that Garland has taken her, but she should be there, right?
No, we know you know that Garland took Sarah. The king does know that at the start of the game.
Okay, I couldn't remember that, but
yeah.
So what they seem to be changing. Well, what they seem to be changing in this one is that Garland doesn't take Sarah.
Does lead to the question of why I guess we know why we're doing it, because chaos.
Yeah, because chaos. Like our mission is to kill chaos. All right, like in the beginning of Final Fantasy 1, you had no idea you were going to kill chaos.
No, right? Your only recollection in that game is that Garland was a castle knight.
Yes.
That ended up kidnapping the princess. You have no idea that he's chaos. You don't know chaos is even a thing.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm going to be a bit unfair here. I like that start better than just let's go kill chaos. It's like, but then why are we fighting Garland? Garland had a super solid reason to be our first enemy before.
They'll find out.
It's just a demo, so the big points of exposition probably aren't there, at least for why you're there. Because honestly, Final Fantasy 1, when you think about it, you're just like it's just like these random dudes with rocks showed up. You're like, oh yeah, cool, whatever. Because back then you didn't think about story that to that extent,
I'm a little worried that people have actually figured out why it is the way it is.
Yeah, it's either isekai or time loop shenanigans.
I'm terrified it's gonna be an isekai.
Yeah, because on the official website, those three dudes are just wearing regular old clothing, even though Jack has that weird T-shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like his pet dog or something just pulled on his shirt and he just stretched it.
So what I did learn is that while you're if you end up leveling up a bunch in this demo or whatever, your two companions actually do get their advanced jobs. The big guy Ash or whatever, he's a black belt. He turns into a monk.
Okay.
And then obviously the rogue or thief turns into a ninja.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the interesting thing about the game though is you said that if you master a class or whatever, you can use any weapon on them.
Mm-hmm.
So doesn't that kind of negate some of the draw of ninja? Because in 1, the whole draw of ninja is that ninja can equip any they can equip anything.
Yeah,
so
I mean possible. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not 100% sure on the reason for these AI companions anyway, because they're literally just Donald and Goofy.
Oh no, because if you were doing a one-person story of Final Fantasy 1, people would get mad. People are already mad that it's 3 and not 4. So that's why.
I did
Well, I
enjoy
mean,
you shouting at the AI. It's like, you fucking dumb shits. They was running off, killing stuff while you were trying to get away.
Yeah, because they would like go down the hallway with the fire bombs, and I'm on the other, and I'm on the outside, and I'm like, you guys are fucking idiots, man.
All I'm saying is I'm disappointed that in order to become the masterclass, you don't have to use a rat's tail. But
Same. Yeah, but I am hoping that Bahamut does show up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm curious
I'm
to
so
see
happy
the
that
fights
they're
against the Four Fiends and Chaos.
Oh yeah, I think the last time we saw the Four Fiends in a mainline Final Fantasy game, God, I don't even know.
4, maybe?
No, they were in 9.
No,
Oh, they're not. Oh, I didn't play 9.
But I want to. God, were they in 12 as well? Like, it's been a while.
Not really. Like,
Yeah, but I know 9. Yeah, but it would be cool to see what they look like in like current graphics as opposed to like PS1 or whatever. So
yeah, I expected to see them in 15 as like a challenge dungeon or something, and I don't think we did. I mean, I know in the anime, Marilith kind of makes an appearance, but
I want to say in 15, Marilith is just a mark. It's not even like a special mob.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally just a hunt mark in that game, I think.
So yeah, it'll be nice to see like them proper. Like there's a lot of things I want to see. I want to see if they work in Bicky. I want to see if they work in the Vampire Lord, Tiamat, all of that. It's going to be interesting.
I'm actually really excited for Warmech because come on.
God, I was talking with them about this, especially I think it was last night. Everything looks a little technologically advanced, and that does feel weird. But also, remember that we go to a satellite and fight Warmech, so
yeah, exactly.
Final Fantasy 1 was wild.
Yeah. So this demo ends like on the 24th. So if you have PS5, go play it, and then do the survey, and then do the survey after. It's because it's an alpha, and they want to take as much. It's Team Ninja, so they like to do this. They put out a couple of alphas. They take as much information as they can, and they gear it for the actual release. They did this with Neo 1. Did this with Neo 2.
Oh yeah, that's
doing it again. Yeah. Don't sleep on this game. This game's gonna be great. Characters look like shit, but it plays really well, and you get to fight Garland.
I am so pleased. I love the way Garland looks.
One last thing. So you get to pick difficulties in this game. All right. There's easy, casual, which when you click easy, it'll be like, do you want to go the casual route? Which in easy casual, like fucking, you don't even have to think about playing the game. Normal, and then hard. All right. The difference between normal and hard. I watched Happy go through the game on hard mode. And he went to go fight Garland. Garland, in normal mode, Garland doesn't do his unblockable attack until phase 2. All right. When he went to go fight Garland in hard mode, like right off the bat, he did his unblockable attack. And I was like, oh god, this is gonna be. It's so different. It's so like the difficulty is very dynamic.
Cool.
Things change.
One last question before we move on, because I briefly was hearing people talk about this. Would you actually, even despite this being Ninja Theory, would you compare it closer to a Souls-like or to an action game? Like, is it closer to Neo, or is it closer?
I just had this talk with somebody. Like I had this. Well, okay, so it's not like DMC. I can tell you that.
Well, yeah, no, it's just the first action game I think of.
So when you're fighting random mobs, it can kind of get a bit DMC depending on how fast. Like, so if you're playing on normal and you're like a little bit geared out, it can feel like just a regular hack and slash, like a DMC game, because you can go through it pretty quickly. But if you're going through it at a normal pace, on your first time, it definitely feels it's a lot harder than Code Vein, is what I can say.
Okay.
A lot harder than Code Vein.
How's
I would.
Oh, sorry. You keep going.
Well, I was gonna say, probably not as hard as either the Dark Soul, like any of the Dark Souls games. But
Not as hard.
definitely no. I would man, it's really hard because I haven't beaten a Dark Souls game. I haven't beaten Bloodborne. I haven't beaten Sekiro. All right.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
So, and I typically don't like playing these games. I was able to get through fucking Code Vein because it was anime as fuck, and I suspect I'll be able to get through this game because it's Final Fantasy 1. Right?
Yeah.
It's not typically because of the gameplay that I like that I'll go through these games. It's just like I like the story. Like I can't get into Dark Souls or Bloodborne because and because their story is so esoteric. So I have to like actually kind of think. I don't like thinking.
No, fair
And-
enough.
And Sekiro,
Yes, you're
Sekiro actually tells you like a story. But I get so frustrated at Sekiro because like all the fights are like a dance, and if you fuck up once, you're pretty much dead. So like
Yeah.
I could do really good, like 95% through a fucking fight in Sekiro, but like the moment I press a button that I'm not supposed to press, I'm dead. So
Fuck up then.
Also, I was gonna
Yeah.
follow up. How's the music?
Oh, good question.
So it's very dubsteppy.
Oh no.
At least in the demo, it's very dubsteppy.
Do that.
But they bop.
That's the okay. That's I care about that a lot. So
They bop. They're
you're
like
right.
okay. So I'm not counting the Garland fight because the Garland fight's very orchestric,
Orchestral, no doubt. Yeah.
and the second phase of the Garland fight is a redoing of the boss theme for when you're fighting Garland in Final Fantasy 1.
nice.
Oh,
Um, But when you're fighting random mobs, like in between boss fights or whatever, it is very dubstep-ish, but it's pretty good. And I don't really like
think you're
dubstep,
for
but it bops. I mean, you have a PS5 dollar, you're gonna play it, so.
I'm gonna play it in like tomorrow. It's true.
So anyway, yeah, I like it. It's really good. You can easily do a 0 job point run of at least this demo.
Oh, absolutely. No, someone's gonna play through this whole game without investing anything into it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
'cause-
definitely no hit runs, all types of good
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah, I was able to go through it without advancing my jobs. I was like, okay, yeah, it's when you learn the Garland fight, I was just like able to like just fucking do it. I was like, okay,
For sure.
this is good.
All right, sounds like
Um,
it's a good Souls like in that regard then, because
Yeah.
that's essentially the whole point.
I akin it to more of a Souls game than anything.
Sure.
I was just having this conversation with somebody on Twitter where they were like, well, it doesn't seem like a Souls game. It seems more like an action RPG, and I'm like, well, Souls is an action RPG. That's like,
This is true.
literally,
Yeah,
they're literally the holders of the genre at the moment. And
It's
he's like,
true, but there is a but to that.
yeah, there is
Souls
but there's
much
different
slower,
types.
and
Yeah.
it's not as actually action oriented. So I understand why people make the difference.
This feels more like a Souls game, and
Cool.
it clearly looks like it's trying to be more like a Souls game. Now, obviously, they've taken some stuff out of it that Souls has. And when you die, if you're playing on normal, when you die, you don't have to collect your souls. You don't have to like collect. You retain all of your upgrades. If you haven't went to another bonfire or cube. So like if you leveled up, and then you died, you still keep that level up.
Cool.
You don't have to go to the cube to level up to use your points.
Okay.
You can do it anywhere. On hard mode, you do lose a bit of your MP when you die, so you need to regain some of your MP back.
All right.
If you die in a boss battle, as soon as you walk into that boss battle, you regain most of your MP back. And on hard, like, so when I say when you regain your MP, when you die, after you die or whatever, it is like a souls thing that's on the floor that you need to like collect, but it's literally just MP.
What about curatives? Is it items like Estus Flask-esque,
Yeah.
or is it
Yeah,
curative
it's
magic?
Estus.
And
It's Estus Flask.
Okay.
Oh, well,
So
okay.
yeah.
You get they're called potions, but they look like fucking they look like a round stone, like a green round stone.
okay,
And you just press down to use.
yeah,
And
because
you
I was
get
just
5.
curious if white mage was going to be a thing in that regard.
I don't
It
think
still-
so, but
It still might be because even Souls games have the I don't want to call them a healing focus class, but the miracles class.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'd be cool if they just put white mage in and made it into a buffer style class, just pure support.
yeah.
I think that
Give
could be
them and by the way, give them a fucking hammer. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get so it's more of when it comes to that, it's more like a well, I mean, I guess Neo does. I mean, both Neo and Souls do the same thing. You get 5, and you can have extra. You can collect extra, but when you go back to it, when you go back to a cube, it only restores back to 5. Like you'll keep your extra if you have 7 and you go to a cube, you'll still have 7, but.
Okay.
After you use those 2, yeah. If you go to 0, it'll only go up to 5.
Okay. Yeah, that's very familiar.
But yeah, I uploaded a playthrough of it, so I mean, Evan, you're not going to be able to play this because you don't have a PS5. So
Yeah, I said I'm not going to buy a PS5 because I'm too smart, and then now I'm like, fuck, I should have bought a PS5.
I was there, and then I was tempted, and I'm very pleased to have been tempted, I guess.
So I mean, I uploaded my first playthrough. It's 2 hours. I mean, when you see me die to Garland, the first time, you can honestly skip to like the last like 15 minutes of the video, so you can watch me actually beat Garland.
I like watching success, so sure, I'll do
that. Yeah, no, it's really good. Like I said, if you have a PS5 and before the 24th, definitely download this trial and do the survey so they know to fix some of the problems. But that is all I played this week. By all, I mean that's a lot of games. That's a lot of games I played this week. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I played 14. I finished the fucking DR relic step, and now I'm on to the. And now I'm in Zadnor. I'm doing Zadnor shit.
If you only knew how much relic stuff I've done this week. Oh my god. I'm doing Heaven's Ward relics and Shadowbringers relics at the same time.
Oh, why would you do that?
And I went into Eureka, got another copycat bulb, which sold for 17 million, and got a petrol horn, which I'm selling for 10 million.
Damn.
I made some money this week.
When I finish my relic, I'm just gonna sit in Bashta and just farm clusters and make money off of clusters.
Yeah, really.
That way I have a little bit. That way I have a little bit when I go into Endwalker.
Yeah, going into Endwalker I show a lot, so.
Yeah. But barring playing video games this week, we had a bunch of conferences that happened this week.
So many.
What, you in school, like parent teacher conferences or something?
Yeah. You would think so, Daddy Nintendo, Mama Capcom, all disappointing parents.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of underperformers for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
I guess we can use this like link. I mean, actually, you said you wrote down a list of stuff, right, Evan?
Oh, I have a list of games I want to talk about, but we can go in order and stuff. They're essentially in order from when the events happened. So
yeah,
you scroll to the bottom of that's the first day.
Yeah,
it starts from Summer Games Fest.
Okay, so the best showing of E3 wasn't even E3. All right. It was Summer Games Fest, all right? It was Jeff Keighley. Jeff Keighley bringing it in for the gaming fam. Actually, I will say Summer Games Fest was second best. Mainly because Devolver Digital was the best.
Sorry,
no, Devolver's always good for a chuckle.
Yeah.
No, genuinely, I think over the years, I'm probably going to end up buying every single game but one that was shown.
Yeah, most
but
likely.
we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see. Summer's Game Fest. The big one from Summer's Game Fest is they finally showed Elden Ring.
Yes.
And put a release
Yes,
date on it.
they did. I'm very pleased. Still pleased. Still smug.
It's still vaporware until it actually comes out, but
Yeah.
I hear the lore for that game will be done being written in 12 years because George Martin's working on it. So
Depends if he makes it. Depends if he makes it.
yeah, exactly.
It depends on if he makes it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they showed this pretty.
Elden, yeah. I mean, horses, Dark Souls mechanics. You get to use the horse to jump up a cliff.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a joke, but also like that is one of the biggest changes that was made. Like, legitimately,
Yeah,
those
horses.
are fantastic.
Horses. Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the D&D equivalent? Summon steeds, summon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially what I thought when I saw it.
Yeah. That looked good. I mean, like I said before this whole E3 started, I was like, if they do not show Elden Ring this year, it is literally vaporware.
Oh yeah,
Well,
no, if they didn't show it this year, I can't imagine that it would exist. Like,
Yeah.
they would have silently canceled it and have been waiting for people to catch wise.
However, Elden Ring exists more than Metroid 4. So
Oh yeah.
so yeah,
I mean,
there's that.
Metroid 5
Bayonetta
exists.
3.
Metroid 5
nice.
exists more than fucking.
Oh, that is quite amusing. Yeah.
Metroid 4.
Summer Games Fest featured 2 celebrities. One, Jeff
Yeah.
Goldblum. We're talking about Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Frontier. Frontier's making
Yeah.
Very good.
Jurassic
Yeah.
World Evolution 2. I've never even played 1, so I don't even
So I
know what
was-
the gameplay is like.
I was streaming during that, and someone in my chat said, "Oh, look, it's Jeff. I love money Goldblum." I was like, "Damn, dude."
That's
That dude,
rough.
but Jeff Goldblum does everything. Like, he's a jazz pianist. Did you guys know that? He's a
I did
jazz
know
piano
this.
player. What the
Yeah.
hell?
I mean,
Honestly, anything that man does,
that's
I'm not
on brand.
surprised.
that's on brand.
Okay, but Akko, what's not on brand for him? Like, that's the point, I guess. But
Oh yeah, no. The man does do it all. Actually, out of everybody that's played in Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum is the one person that fucking loves that he played in Jurassic Park. Everybody else is just like, I really can't believe I played in this fucking movie. Dude, it's like it's hailed as like one of the best movie series of all time. Even the new Jurassic World movies are at least decent. So,
okay, they're watchable.
Yeah, they're watchable for sure.
Yeah. You got Ryan Reynolds didn't actually present a game, though he was a bit cheeky about Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not here to say that I'm the main character in Elden Ring. But I
am.
Yeah. I was
now or something.
Yeah. When they showed that movie, I was like, me and some people in chat were like, "Oh yeah, you know what? I'm kind of about this." And then Ninja showed up, and collectively, just okay, never mind, fuck this movie.
Yeah. And then Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon, I got nothing against, but Ninja, I'm not a Ninja stan. I guess that's what you could say.
I mean, I bet you Ninja's in this movie for all of like 2 seconds, honestly.
Yeah, it's all cameos. It's just them.
Yeah.
Talking heads.
I'm still gonna watch this movie because I think it's going to be really funny.
Sure.
But I won't go to the theaters for it. I'll either wait till it hits digitally.
Then we had Hideo Kojima confuse me by mentioning 9/11 twice.
Well, just
Kojima
watch him, and it'll all make sense. Okay.
Okay.
Kojima was like, I made a video game about like us being like stuck inside, and now we're all stuck inside, and I really don't want to be the cause of another pandemic. Pretty much.
Even with Metal Gear, he talked about like the dangers of like the information age. So everyone just sits around and they go, "Man, Kojima, what a genius!" And it's like, he's essentially a video game, science fiction author that makes video games at this point.
Yeah,
he's mainly just speculation, pure speculative fiction.
He's also a troll, by the way. That fucking
trailer, yes.
Metal Gear Death Stranding.
I was just looking, I'm like, this is a giant Metal Gear Solid 2 reference. Enjoying the video? Remember to like and sub. Helps out the channel a bunch, and we're grateful for everyone we get. Yes. Puts the box back. Fine. You know what? I deserve
Director's
this for
cut.
getting excited.
Director's cut.
I deserve this for getting excited.
Yeah.
Why would he do anything Metal Gear related? It's not even his IP anymore.
So this only made me go, yeah, so I'm not going to finish my PC version of Death Stranding, and I'm just going to get it for PS5.
You'll get a free upgrade, right?
I don't have... I have the PC.
Only have the PC.
Death Stranding.
Okay.
Yeah, I only have
hope I get
PC Death Stranding.
I have the physical collector's edition for PS4, so
Hey,
I'll get a free upgrade.
Wee BB.
It was big.
Oh yeah, I guess they did drop the a trailer for Call of Duty Season 4, but nobody really cares about Call of Duty.
What are you talking
So-
about? Call of Duty,
Actually, Call of Duty is
game for
routinely
me.
the highest selling game in the world. Lots of
Yeah.
people
Okay, so when I mean by
Why-
nobody cares, I mean nobody with a soul cares about Call of Duty.
care.
with Battlefield, you know. I
Battlefield looked really good. Battlefield looked fucking great. And it
I
pains
love how
me
they did it.
that there's no campaign in that game.
Yeah, but I did like that they highlighted the Battlefield moments from like from the videos like back in the day, because
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, yeah, see, that's perfect. They know their community pretty well, and they want to highlight that. Whereas like Call of Duty, it's always like some, you know, it's always trying to be like greater than what it is or like smarter than it is, and it's like it's a game where you shoot people and like throw knives. Just come on, like
Yeah.
stick to them. Don't try to
Or-
intellectualize this more than it needs to be.
Yeah, but Battlefield people fucking like ram fucking Jeeps into goddamn helicopters.
In
That's a Michael
Battlefield,
Bay
if I'm flying a jet and someone's better than me at jet fighting, I will literally suicide crash into people so I get killed
Yeah.
before I die. So yeah,
It's the way to do it, I guess.
The tornado in that Battlefield trailer was really cool looking too.
I tell you what, I'm not immune to hype. I don't have a lot of fun feelings about first-person shooters, but that game looked cool.
Yeah, I want to see consequences in parachuting into a tornado.
We saw
Oh, you're
that.
dead.
Swing people
Yeah,
about.
you're
We saw
dead.
that.
Do it.
We saw that near the end of the reveal. They were just being tossed around like the cow and Twister.
Ah.
Yeah. Cow. Another cow. No, I think that's the same cow.
Yeah.
Actually, let's talk about the unsung heroes of E3. All right, the unsung hero of E3. All right,
Yeah.
or the unsung hero of 2021 to 2022. All right,
Oh.
Bandai Namco has 3 games coming out between now and January. All right, they have Scarlet Nexus coming out next week.
Correct.
They have Tales of Arise coming out in September.
Can't wait.
And they have Elden Ring coming out in January.
Yeah.
what about the horror movie game? Remember that? Yeah. Remember that? Yeah, everyone
Wait,
was
what?
super excited.
What horror movie game?
Did you not watch the press conference? They talked about one game and it was
Oh, no, House of
Oh.
Ashes? No, I skipped
Oh.
Bandai Namco's thing because I was like, as soon as I saw that it was about one game, I was like, okay, I'm out of here, because I was on the assumption that they were going to have like maybe a little mini like 15 to 20 minute like showing of like some games that they might be working on. I mean, they literally just trademarked a bunch of Ridge Racer names a couple weeks ago.
To be fair, that might just be so they get to keep the property.
Oh yeah, no, that is. But like, I mean, you just don't do that right before fucking E3. I mean, okay, well, House of Ashes, they have a game coming out, or they have another game coming out. That's 4 games, all right? I mean, come on. Like, what's Square doing? Remastering some pixel games?
You know what though? Bandai Namco. I have so much trouble with that name. Who was it? Greg Miller on the broadcast was like, "Yeah, I call them Namco Namco."
We call them Bamco. Just call them Bamco.
The name was switched around before, and
Yeah.
I'm used to it, and then I realized they switched it the other way, and it throws me off so fucking much now, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
I don't know. I love Bamco. They make some bad games, but they also make some quality games. And that Tales of Arise trailer they showed at Game Fest, Summer Game Fest, I was not expecting 2 more characters. I was not expecting 2 more characters.
That's fine. And then you get a full 6.
Yeah.
And they all bring pretty good things to the table, honestly. I feel like the team is more varied this time around than it was in Berseria. So
Yeah.
I'm so shallow. I couldn't help the fact that everyone in that cast is so fucking pretty.
I was like, as soon as they showed the two that in that trailer, I was like, so I'm never using the caster, and I'm probably never using somebody else. I'm gonna use the monk because I'll probably play as the monk a good bit of time, but I'm definitely going to main Captain Kisara.
Because is that knight and that redheaded fellow? Oh my god.
Yeah.
They're also
Yeah.
well, yeah, when I saw
grandpa.
Yeah.
yeah,
Wait,
I saw the knight, I was like, oh, dude, Aqua. I think Aqua likes Saber, so he's definitely gonna play her.
No, I don't like Saber. No, I think Saber's worst character, one of the worst characters in the Fate series.
And you are correct. Fight me, Fate fam.
Maybe someone
but
like Saber.
She's a gigantic shield wielding mace wielding character. And in some gameplay videos that I've seen. Okay, so this is what gets me so good about this game, all right? It looks like they're kind of going back to the old Graces style of combat where you're trying to bait attacks so you can dodge them or block them.
Okay.
And the Graces combat was the best.
Graces as well.
I never played Graces.
Graces is so good. Graces is so good.
That game has one of the best boss fights that you're supposed to lose in any game I've ever played.
Oh, which one is it?
When you fight your brother.
Oh yeah. Because fucking Hubert just goes.
He just destroys you. It's amazing.
Yeah. He was just like, "Hey, I've been training while you've been doing nothing," and you're like, okay, Hubert. Yeah. Okay, Hubert. You were a crybaby when you were a kid. He fucking 2 hits you in that fucking battle.
Hilarious.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's like, oh.
Actually, to segue a little bit to Aqua.
Yeah.
Because this is what I do. I segue. But yeah, I believe somebody, maybe Aqua, is doing some Tales little playthrough there.
That's right. Yeah.
Placing at this right.
That's somewhere.
I'm gonna do a mini marathon of Symphonia, Vesperia, Zestiria, and no, not Fantasia. Zestiria and Berseria. I have a little goal up on my channel that if I get any parts of the way through, I'll probably add a game to it. And the only reason why I have the donation is because I have to reacquire Graces, which is going to be like $40 to $60. I have to reacquire.
Just deliver it to you and let you borrow it.
I have to reacquire Zillia 1 because I sold my collector's edition to a friend because he likes collecting. He likes collecting things. You should see his you should see his Sony wall. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
And that's one of the things. What?
We'll mail you a copy of Grace's F. Just mail me your PS5.
And...
That's funny. Even trade.
Yeah, this is a trade transaction. I get.
I have to reacquire Graces. I have to reacquire Zillia. I have to acquire a new PS4 controller because the current one I have does not connect to my computer correctly.
Oh.
And I need that to play Abyss.
Mm-hmm.
So controller. Just use that.
Because the PS5 doesn't connect to DS4 Windows very well.
Yeah, because I think my brother uses a PS5 controller for his PC controller.
Yeah. I mean, I can like fuck around with it a little bit because Abyss is one of the ones I really do want to play because Abyss is my favorite of the Tales games.
So that's probably why you're going to be emulating, so it's going to be a pain in the ass. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've emulated it before. and it's not too bad. It's just I would need my PS5 controller to hook up the DS4 Windows correctly so I can actually use the emulator for it. Or the current PS4 controller that I have. And then for the PS3 Tales games, I need to hook up my PS3 for it. And that's a hassle.
Do you have a box for pass through for PS3 or no?
Oh, are you talking about for like a splitter?
Yeah, a little magic box.
Yeah. I've got a splitter, yeah.
That's good then. Yeah, because I had to buy one because I was playing Metal Gear 4, and then that never happened.
I bought one. I bought one so I could stream White Knight Chronicles. I love that game. I love White Knight Chronicles 1 and 2.
Well, in fact, I bought that game because 13 years ago or 12 years ago or whatever, he read my review of White Knight Chronicles.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Honestly, I probably did.
Maybe
to be fair,
it was when I was with DualShockers, so it's probably still there. It's poorly written because back then I was worse at writing than I am now, and I think I'm pretty bad at writing right now. So yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I am doing that mini marathon. It's going to start sometime in July. I'm going to play them all on easy so I can turn my brain off, especially for Zestiria. I really need to turn my brain off for Zestiria because fuck that game. That game sucks.
You gotta love being the shepherd, okay?
No, being the shepherd's not the problem. It's what the shepherd has to equip and unequip and go through that fucking horrible system is the problem.
It's okay.
Right?
Zestiria is one game that I've started and have no intention of finishing, so I'll watch you play through that one.
Are you going to be dropping all the story lore and the character lore and eloquently, critique the game as you play?
Yeah, that's what we want, Aqua.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to a point where Lila goes, makes like a noise because she wants to say something, and I'm like, just fucking say something, all right? So Ray's not gonna make his goddamn decision based off of what you said. I'm gonna get so angry. We get so angry. I already pissed off Dalit because he got the game because of a friend, all right? Yeah. And I was like, here, look at this cool opening for Zestiria. Hey, guess what we get? The lyricless version.
It's the thing that killed me in Abyss 2. It's not a problem if you don't know, but once you know better, like listening to Bump of Chicken sing Karma is so good.
And then I'm like,
to the American version is like, oh, you're missing so much about this.
But yeah, that was Summer Game Fest.
Yes,
it was really. It was definitely one of the best showing.
Yeah. Next was Gearbox.
Next.
Oh my god.
Gearbox, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, where Randy Pitchford walked on a set for half of it.
I don't like Randy Pitchford, and I can explain this to you very, very quickly. You guys want to hear it? So Randy Pitchford, when probably like 2008, 2009 or whatever, he was essentially the antithesis of what people saw CEOs as being, because Bobby Kotick was still bad then. And so everyone's like, oh yeah, Randy Pitchford, he's like the people CEO, he's great, we all love him. And then we it was that you live long enough to become the villain. We essentially just got to see him go from being the people CEO to becoming a monster. And I do not enjoy him.
Correct.
I gotta say, my favorite thing from Gearbox was Godfall, the PS5 exclusive game. It's getting a PS4 release.
Yeah, that was so weird.
That was funny.
Look,
that tickled
they
me.
have to do something to get more people to play that game. That game does not look like it was cheap to make, but it also doesn't look like it was ever going to make its money back.
It feels bad because it's like you had a timed exclusivity for Sony on the PS5, and after that's up, the only system you put it on is the one below it. This would have been funnier if they said the Switch, honestly. This would have been funnier if they said the Switch, but no.
I disagree, because at least the Switch would have showed that another company had faith in them. No, this was Sony just going, look, we can't put PS5. We'll just put it on the PS4 as well.
In a 4-generation old console?
Well, it's still something. But yeah, no, Randy Pitchford in this he was unbearable. like I do understand that this movie is actually a fairly big gamble, and video game movie curse and all that, and they have some very large names attached to this, so it's also
Very.
very expensive, and they want people to go
Yeah.
see it. But having Randy Pitchford crack bad jokes and just talk way too much, and then blur everything out,
Hmm.
it didn't build anything for me that wasn't resentment.
Yeah, and there were 3 movies too, because there's the Ryan Reynolds movie, there was
Yep.
the Borderlands movie, which I was like, what the fuck, for real? A
Yep.
Borderlands
Have you not
movie?
Have you
Really?
not
Yep.
been keeping
Yeah.
up? Oh, every time they reveal someone in the cast, the whole internet gets angry at them.
Yeah, see, I didn't even know this was a thing. And then they also showed the Wolf Among Us movie, which I'm gonna tell you, if the biggest celebrity your movie has is the AT&T girl, oh, I'm sorry.
No.
That's not gonna be good.
Oh,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess the only interesting thing that actually there's 2 interesting things to come out of Gearbox. One we already knew about because it was leaked like the week before, which is the
Yeah.
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
it looks
Yeah.
like it looks like a Borderlands game. It's probably going to be really fun.
Homeworld 3 got announced. They're actually making a
Yeah.
Homeworld 3.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Nobody cares about Tribes of Midgard. That's just
No,
another
because
Valheim game.
Valheim seems to have done it better anyway. It's just, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look bad, and pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, and I mean, Godfall. Who cares about Godfall?
Hey,
Now
$20
here,
bucks. We've said it time
No.
and time again. I will pick it up.
yeah, I'll pick it up for $20, but that's as low, that's as high as I get.
I'm willing to go.
Now here's interesting. All right, next is
Yeah.
Ubisoft. Ubisoft
Yeah.
had some interesting reveals. All right. Interesting. Okay, just interesting. They have Rainbow Six Extraction. It's just a 4-player zombie shooter, first person shooter game. It's
Don't say
Haze.
it.
It's Haze. It's Haze.
God.
DLC for Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, this was.
Yeah.
The amalgamation of nightmare horrors that is Mario and Rabbids.
Yeah.
You know what though? Those games, I wanted to play the first one, and it's always on sale. And I'm like, one day I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna play it, and it's just never happened. Usually I pull the trigger, and this has been something for like years. I was like, yeah, no, next time it's $20, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna buy it, and then it's $20. I'm like, next time.
The second most interesting thing was they just showed some Far Cry stuff, Far Cry 6.
Love it.
I mean the that one actor in the game just makes that game.
Yeah, John
Period.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yes.
He's gonna. This will probably be the first Far Cry I actually play.
Far Cry 3, for the record, fantastic game.
correct.
And they're in the Far Cry 6 Battle Pass. You're gonna be able to play Blood Dragon.
Yeah, Blood
So
Dragon
it's
was kind of a fun distraction.
It's more than just Blood Dragon, which, like Evan said, was great in its own way. There's another section.
Well, there's the villains like DLC that you get to play as the villains of all the the good Far Cries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where I started. I don't know anything about Far Cry 1 and 2 other than I think malaria sucks.
Far Cry 2 is kind of a meme at this point in gaming. So
Okay.
like Far Cry 3 was amazing. Far Cry 4 was good. I didn't play Far Cry 5. Nothing against it. I just never got around to it.
So let's see. Far Cry 6 comes out in November or October. Maybe I'll pick up a Far Cry before then. I don't know. My schedule between now and Endwalker is very, very, very jam packed. And then the most interesting thing, something the most out of left field announcement ever. They're making an Avatar game?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. You too can create a symbiotic relationship with your phallic hair. Congratulations, gamers.
I was not prepared for this. Okay. Yeah, that's
I just figured
true.
Avatar was dead in the water, but no,
Yeah,
apparently it's
no.
alive and well.
Well, James
I-
Cameron
I-
actually finished filming the second one. He actually
Oh,
finished filming the
really?
second one, yeah.
Oh.
But he's waiting until they're
Ubisoft.
all finished. He's waiting until they're all finished to release
I
them.
was trying to Lord of the Rings it.
But
Okay.
why?
Yeah. So he can. So every 6 months he can release a movie.
Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah. I see.
I don't know. Like I don't care about the Blue Cat people. I really don't. But if it has to exist, and
Ubisoft's probably
a-
the best
and a company has to
people
do
to
it,
bake on.
exactly. I think Ubisoft is actually in their element because you're gonna want to climb around this world and look at all the pretty vistas, and that is literally what like all Ubisoft titles do. You find
Yep.
something tall, you climb it, and you unlock more of the map.
Yeah.
I think finally they found an IP where that should be one of the main gameplay loops.
I'm surprised you guys actually went straight to Ubisoft because there was another showcase you guys didn't talk about.
Was there?
I'm
Yeah.
going through the list of this
Okay, 'cause, yeah,
of this
fill us in.
times.
The indie game show that was on after the game festival.
I
of
missed
games.
it. I didn't actually tune in for it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, same.
It was
And did you do
interesting.
it? All right, yeah. Tell
Yeah,
us
can I
about
talk
it.
about a couple of standouts here?
Yeah, do it.
Go
Do it.
ahead. Go ahead.
So they had Axiom Verge 2. If you guys don't know Axiom
Oh,
Verge, just
okay.
Metroidvania. They're making another one. They put in an easier mode so that players that could not beat bosses in the first game, so in the second game, they can actually go through and like beat stuff if boss fights are too hard. And if you like Metroidvanias, you like that kind of game, then woohoo. If you don't, then whatever. It's like it has the old school graphical styling. Some people love that. Some people hate that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of games that take advantage of that now. But yeah, I'm excited. I liked Axiom Verge 1. So another game, there was a game called Toem, which is this like black and white photography game, and you're like just going around taking pictures of stuff. I didn't really get any idea of the story per se, but the game it was charming. It was one of those games where I was like, oh wow, that's actually compelling because it's so charming.
I believe we've seen that game before. I believe that was revealed at one of the previous shows, and I only say this because what you're describing seems very familiar.
I think because the day of the indie or whatever the hell the show was called, the
Day of the Dev.
Yeah, Day of the Dev, the Tim Schafer thing that he did.
Yes.
Yeah, it was yeah. It's a lot of opt-in stuff. So some of it was stuff that we've probably seen, but some of it's really cool. There was another game, Garden Story. Think of Stardew Valley, like one of those types of games, but you play as like you can play as like a frog or like a grape. It's very cute. It is a very cute game.
A grape.
A grape. You could be a grape. You could be an apple. Like there.
Oh, wow.
If you watch the trailer, it oozes. Like I said, with a lot of these indie games, I think a lot of them are very charming. Garden Story, another game where I instantly was like, okay, this is charming as hell. I would play this. Yeah. So yeah, it's your standard.
I'm intrigued by the grapeness.
Yeah, it's essentially like Stardew Valley. Very similar graphical style and everything like that. Let's see, another one. A Musical Story was another game they showed, and it is a game that the whole story is told via music, and it's kind of a rhythm game, more or less.
Okay.
And there's no dialogue in the game or anything like that. And it's interesting. I'm a big fan of non-verbal storytelling in video games. I think that you can do that very well for the video game media. I think lends itself very well to those kind of stories. More so than like a lot of other things. Because like Wall-E, yeah, non-verbal, whatever, but Wall-E, you're strapped in and you're not getting you don't get the same depth that you would get playing a game that is similar. Sure. But it's essentially someone like reflecting on their life as a musician and stuff like that. And that seemed interesting. I would probably never play it because gameplay doesn't interest me at all, but conceptually interesting. So, and then there's two more. So don't worry, we're almost out of here. Voca Belantis, another game I would probably never play, but the game is completely stop motion. They literally
Wow.
made all the stages, everything, the character animations. They had to do all of the lighting 360 degrees so they could change lighting on the fly. Literally, the entire game is stop motion.
Whoa, that's labor
That
intensive.
reminds
Wow.
me of is like one of the ex-creators of Final Fantasy. They branched off to make their own thing, right? The set pieces, the backgrounds and stuff are all actual models. Yeah. Oh, I like that shit though.
Yeah,
it's,
but yeah, so it was just neat to see because that's something I literally never seen. Like sometimes you see like the claymation-y looking stuff like Wallace and Gromit, but you don't see like full stop motion. I that's just like an interesting technological thing, you know. Like I said, I probably would never play the game. It doesn't look like terribly interesting to me, and it's a little creepy, but the tech for that was really neat to me.
Yeah, way to make them stand out in the industry.
And the last game that they showed that I am sold, I would, in another game I probably would never play. It's a rhythm game called Unbeatable. I don't know if you guys have seen this game.
No.
Oh, I've heard about it.
The OST for this game, it's like 6 songs deep right now because it's only there's a demo on Steam. Go download the demo if you're interested. But essentially, like this inspiration for this game was like bootleg anime, and it's about, and it's a world where music's illegal and they're a band, and you're essentially putting on like these like underground, concerts, and the game is all rhythm game, and every song on this soundtrack is fucking amazing.
Okay.
I literally the other day I was driving and I listened to the soundtrack while driving.
Okay.
How often does that
I like
happen?
rhythm games.
Hey, let's go.
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, it looks amazing. The music's cool. The graphical style's really neat. I'm not a big rhythm person, but the game looks amazing. And there's a demo on Steam, so you could even play that and give it a shot. I think there's like 4 songs or maybe the full 6, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll have a look. Unbeatable.
There was a title that I ran into on Twitter, and I have no idea where it aired. So I'm going to put it here under the assumption that it's in with the indie dev. It's called Solstice, and it is essentially a hack and slash, something close to DMC, but perhaps not that refined, where you're clearly playing female guts. Straight up, one eye down, the whole armor, big steel plate of a sword. And it looks amazing. It's set in like this very gothic-y, dark fantasy.
Yeah, that wasn't in the indie game show, but I do remember seeing that in the show because that was the name of my first WoW guild, Solstice, spelled just like the game's name. So I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, I'm all about what I saw there, and I just didn't see it anywhere else through E3, so I have no idea where it was announced.
I forget where exactly, but I was streaming during that point. It may have been the PC gaming show.
Could be. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for filling me in.
Yeah, no
I
worries.
definitely want to see more about that.
All right, we can go on with the thing. Sorry, I just noticed that since I thought we were going in order, that there was no mention of the indie game show.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, in between that, there's Devolver Digital. Most of the games that they showed were basic indie games. There's a Kurosawa side-scrolling looking samurai game called Trek to Yomi. That looked really good. There's another game that's like a top-down. I don't know how to like actually explain, but it's wizard with a gun.
Wizard with a gun.
It's wizard with a gun. It's
where you get to like you get to customize what you shoot out of your gun, and it's like you get to mix, like you get to shoot tile floors out of your gun.
Complicating things. It's
there's
no simple answer to this. You play a wizard
with a gun.
With a gun.
Yeah. That one looked really good. But the main thing to talk about the Devolver Digital showcase was their Premium Max Pass Plus subscription, where you don't have to pay anything and you get to access games for a price. Obviously, you get to purchase games. You don't have to pay anything, but you get to purchase the games. And their whole skit was around this new. Obviously, it was satire of all these people of all these companies having their own subscription based service. even at the end, they did a jab to Nintendo about making a digital only copy
Limited run
of
release.
for limited run release.
Yeah.
With their own game that they're releasing out on Nintendo Switch for that is only physical. You can't buy it digitally, and so people can just buy it so they can scalp the fuck out of it.
I
And they had
really
non-fuckable tapes.
Yeah, exactly. I really love all the games that were shown today.
Mhm.
During the conference. But
Yeah.
Devolver Digital, even more so than previous years, was so good just for the experience. The
Mhm.
satire, the writing, the deliveries, the editing. Oh my god, it was such
Yeah.
a treat.
For production, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're not into any games or whatever, like, I mean, I don't know why you're listening to this podcast if you're not into games. But watching the Devolver Digital E3 2021 like showcase is probably one of the best things you could ever do because it's just so fucking funny. And I was waiting for a Sonic reveal during this whole entire thing because they were eating nothing but chili dogs.
Yeah.
I actually went out and freaking bought stuff to make some for myself because I was like, I really fucking want to eat one now. God damn it.
But yeah. What else happened? Was the Wholesome Game Show that day as well? Because I didn't watch that either.
Wholesome Game Show. I think if that is something, I skipped it.
Okay. I think it was something that they showed like really cute, like indie looking games.
Now, if it was the Wholesome Game Show, then maybe I would have watched it. But the Wholesome Game Show, no.
Next day we had Bethesda and Microsoft Xbox conference. Where
nothing good. Nothing.
You say nothing good, but
Microsoft.
I saw some good things in there. Like, there's some interesting things in this show.
Yeah.
Starfield. That's what?
Sarcasm, buddy.
No,
sarcasm.
look, when Todd Howard walked on stage, I had a deep fear. There was a cold
He
pit in
wouldn't,
my
would
stomach. So don't you dare say the S word, dude. Don't you dare.
Skyrim for the Game Boy. Skyrim.
Surely
Game
there's
Boy.
nowhere
Luckily
else
this
for you to put
time,
it.
this S word was Starfield.
Yeah.
Wait till you find
Starfield.
Skyrim in Starfield.
They showed an in-game trailer, and announced the release date of November 11th, 2022. I don't believe that day.
I like that day a lot
because it's the 11 years after Skyrim.
Well, I like
came
it
out.
because I like number sequences. So 1111, it's 22. It's a math equation. As a kid, I used to go around and look at people's addresses and figure out ways to make their address equal 0. So I'm a weirdo. I was a weird kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like number sequences, even though I don't like math.
And I respect you, but what the fuck, my guy?
Yeah. 11/11/22 is exactly 11 years after Skyrim was released. By the way,
who here saw Skyrim behind closed doors at E3? Hands up, anyone? I'm the only one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Who here was in a God of War 3 behind the scenes video?
Some
with
sexy guy I heard
of. With some mutton chops.
Yeah, some mutton chops. Man, yeah.
They showed Halo Infinite multiplayer trailer.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was never
again,
worried about the multiplayer.
Yeah. I mean, it's only really the multiplayer that makes me nostalgic for Halo because these days is.
Yeah, I mean, we already knew that it was going to be free, so they didn't have the shock factor of that. We've seen the game before, even if it was perhaps not what they wanted us to see. So really, this was more just a reminder that, yeah, they've been there, they've been working on it, and it will be coming out sooner rather than later.
Still no release date.
No.
I hate Halo multiplayer. I'm sorry, Leak.
Oh, well.
any game where you have life and a shield. Every time I play Halo, this is how it goes.
No.
Oh, hell yeah, I got the drop on this guy. Shoot him in the head. not dead. Shield down. He turns around and I die instantly.
you
I'm like, how
doing
did
it wrong.
you be so fast?
You play the only mode that I'm interested in. You play with me. You play SWAT.
Yeah, SWAT.
Yeah.
If I hit your head, friend, you are dead.
Yeah, because I use the what was the DR-15 or whatever. Yeah, that's what I use. I like single shot. I like accuracy in that game. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I agree with you 1,000%. In traditional multiplayer Halo, I'm not very good because I like you will get the jump, get turned around on, and just explode.
See, I'm very much in the red versus blue mentality. I do really fucking stupid shit, and that's what brings me joy. So,
Griff Ball.
yeah.
I was never worried about the multiplayer,
No.
because that's their bread and butter when it comes to, they didn't show anything single player really. They showed that cutscene with not Cortana.
Yeah, it was surprising that they decided to just show a cutscene, especially since a lot of the complaint of the last thing we saw was of in-game stuff. So
Yeah.
Question: I haven't played a Halo since Halo 3. I haven't played Halo 3. I played. Is this Master Chief in this game?
Yeah.
Why, is he always had a voice, or is this something that happened like?
That's always his voice. No, that's always his voice.
He had a voice, but he became more talkative as the games went on.
I don't remember him having a voice in Halo 1 or Halo 2.
He has a voice in Halo 2, 100%. I can't say about Halo 1.
I literally, for some reason, just remember him being like Doom guy. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't remember these games at all. Then shit.
Yeah.
You don't remember the beginning of Halo 3 where he goes, "I need a weapon."
It's so good.
I didn't play Halo 3. I played 1 and 2.
Oh.
I stopped playing Halo because the what was it, the flood in the library or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I'm good. I'm done with this series.
Yeah, I think he had one line in 1. He was more talkative in 2, and at that point he just became a character that speaks.
I think I remember from 2 is that you play as the alien.
Hey, you play as Keith David Alien. Thank you.
You play as Cal. Yeah. I mean, they still didn't. They said holiday 2021. Yeah. We're at the 6-month mark. Put a fucking date on it. All right. Like, come on. Like, this game's not coming out this year. I'm calling it.
To be fair,
I'm calling it.
They regretted that decision.
Halo's not coming out this year. I'm calling. They showed the first trailer for The Outer Worlds 2, which I still need to play the Outer Worlds 1. That trailer was hilarious.
Yeah,
that trailer was hilarious.
So good.
It was so self-aware.
Yep.
It was really nice. And the thing that sucks about that, though, they showed that trailer after they showed essentially nothing for Starfield. So it was like, oh, that you show a trailer, and it's literally making fun of Starfield too.
It's great. It's good timing. It's like, yeah, you just called out all the other trailers before it. Well done.
Sea of Thieves is getting a Pirates of the Caribbean crossover, which is probably what it needed in the beginning.
Yeah. Doing
so
who cares?
Yeah. Stalker 2, there's a fucking 10 to 15 minute fucking trailer about people sitting around a fire speaking Russian.
See, I didn't mind the writing for the the sit around the camp thing at all. It was all right. It was really fun to watch, but it was a bit too long.
Yeah.
So but the trailer itself was fine.
Stalker 2, yeah. Heart of Chernobyl.
Yeah, I downloaded it, played it, instantly regretted it.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, there's some games that are just like that. I have to go into like my Steam library, but there are a couple of games I've played where people are like, "Oh, it's like not the greatest game, but it's a gem." And then I went and installed it, played it for 10 minutes, went, "Oh, nope, this is not a gem."
They're liars.
Fallout 76 is getting some update. Nobody cares. That game's trash.
I play Fallout 76.
So did I. I played it once and I regretted it.
On a hill, and then when someone else has a house on a hill, it kicks me out of my house, and I just it's silly. Yeah.
Doom Eternal. Coming to Xbox Game Pass.
Ah.
Woohoo.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Doom Eternal's
Oh,
good.
well, you say that Xbox Game Pass full stop was the star of the show because
My goodness,
Oh, well.
it's
Yeah.
such good.
27
Yeah.
out of 30 games.
I
Yeah.
just need them to beef up the PC Game Pass to be better reflective of the actual Game Pass, and I'm in. I'm all the way in.
Yeah.
I
Same.
honestly, I remember like a year or two ago when Xbox really was making the move as like games or Xbox as a service, as opposed to like competing with Sony, right? And I was really excited about that because the it's something other companies aren't doing, right? Like Nintendo's
Yeah.
never going to do that because they don't have to. And Sony, they kind of they have really good AAA, first party games. So Microsoft really struggled, and I was like, oh, this is really compelling, and I was hoping they could pull it off. And they make it like Dalit said, man, Game Pass is probably the best value in gaming right now.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, it is.
If you let's say you're not into console games, right? And you want to play them on PC, boom, you got them on PC. Let's say you got a crappy PC, you want to play a couple of games on PC, and you have a console and you just want a bunch of games. It's nice because before there was that separation between PC and console games. This kind of bridges that gap and makes it that you don't need an Xbox, you don't need a PC, but if you have both, then it's a really nice symbiotic relationship where all your saves and your achievements and stuff go both on both sides. And yeah, I really can't think of like if Sony had a show, I couldn't think of anything they could do to really challenge that.
Absolutely not.
No.
Because they have PS Now, and PS Now is a joke. So
yeah, we've been making fun of Microsoft for a couple of years now, and in the background they've just been laughing, going, "Yeah, no, sure, keep talking shit. We're working on this thing that's gonna blow your mind." And we're like, "No, you're not. No, you're not. You can't keep up. You can't even get any games on it." Suddenly, boom! In one showing, 27 new games come up, and you can play them for one flat fee per month. It's like, holy crap! We're really at this point where it's been said time and time again for like the last two console generations. I think it's only become a possibility now, and that's you don't need a console anymore. The advances in consoles are going to be not irrelevant because there's always going to be a side that would prefer a console to a PC. But as far as Microsoft is concerned, they could just stop. They could just boom. They have the infrastructure for a digital storefront with all of their titles.
The problem with that,
that's been like a possibility in my head.
The problem with that is that a lot of the stuff that they're announcing for Game Pass isn't PC Game Pass. It's just specifically for Xbox. So you have to have an Xbox. Yeah.
That's why I said once they have this figured out and they actually get PC Game Pass up to par with the Xbox.
Yeah, then it's over. Then it's over. Yeah, it's done.
It's gonna be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Still, regardless though, I mean, if you're willing to get a Xbox over a PS5, it's still the best value.
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially with how hard it is to update your PC. Like I thought I was going to have a 3000 series GPU, and I was going to give my computer another, boost to its life cycle. I'm still running 1070 because it's just impossible to get. That's why I didn't get a PS5 because I was like, I got my GPU money just sitting, hoping, and no.
Yeah, it's like that right now. And honestly, the silicon shortage isn't going to go away until next year. So this is something that we just have to deal with. Either meet the scalpers or wait it out.
Forza Horizon 5 got a trailer. That game looks sick.
That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous what the environments looked like. I thought I was looking at a fucking photograph. No, that's in-game graphics. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they set a camera there for 24 hours just staring at this one piece of...
God.
And I mean, like, even with Forza 4, not Forza, sorry. With Forza 4, that was the game that all journalists and YouTubers were testing 8K with, because that game is capable of 8K 60, I believe. So,
I don't know about 60. At least no.
I think Marquez Brownlee, I think when he used a 3090, he got pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah.
The game is absolutely beautiful. For me, I'm not big into Sims, racing Sims anymore, but specifically the Horizon uh, line of Forza games, not the motorsport. It's always so interesting. So I'm really keen on it. It's the one racing sim-ish thing that I've contemplated a couple of times. I almost picked up for Horizon. So
Forza Horizon 4. I have like probably 80 hours in that game. It is fantastic.
it's beautiful. It's fun. It's like they do so many neat things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In this one, you can make your own tracks and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Your own
Yeah.
little mini games and stuff.
Yep.
God, dude, just make stupid tracks all day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. It's gonna be ridiculous what you see in that game.
Oh yeah.
Well, actually, I want to bring up one more thing about that because that brings
Right.
up a good point, right? Microsoft, one of the reasons I think that they essentially swept E3 so hard, when they showed, when they were like, "Oh, here's Forza, here's this game, here are all these other games," and they were talking. They have a lot of good talking points about 4K, 4K 60, having games that are running at 120 frames a second,
Yeah.
and that was so big because we'll talk about some of these other games later, but there were so many games that were shown during E3, and the games are running at 1080p, and they don't have anti-aliasing, so it's crazy. It's like super jagged, and you got a lot of weird graphical aliasing and stuff like that.
And they're at 30 frames.
Yeah, 30 frames. Like prime example. I know we're talking about this one a little bit. The Guardians of the Galaxy game, when they showed that, there's a part where Peter Quill or whatever his name is, he's sliding on his back, and then he does a backflip, and it's literally 15 frames a second. I almost vomited. So it's one of these things that you think at this day and age, you'd say 4K 60 FPS. That's what every game should be aiming for realistically at this point. That way, if you're playing at 1080p, you can still have old GPUs, not have to worry about it too much. You still get 100 plus frames with like a 1070, 1080, something like that. You have the price point where if you're doing 2K, you'll be able to get over 120 as well. At 4K, you can get at least 60, and like so, it's just one of these things where Microsoft really kind of shows it understands technically where games need to be, whereas a lot of other developers, just to have stuff to show, we get a lot of things that don't inspire a lot of good faith from communities. Because you look at like the Guardians of the Galaxy game, that game might come out and be amazing, right? But from that alpha footage, it looks terrible, and you go, well, it's just alpha, right? But look at the Avengers game, prime example.
Exactly.
That game came out. Oh, it's just alpha. They're just showing alpha, guys. Oh, it was just beta. It's just beta. Don't worry, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. And the game never got better. It still runs like just a mess. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to worry about
correct.
you have to worry about these things when it comes with the third party developers. You don't really have to this is both on Sony and Xbox side. Their first party developers are pretty good about making sure you get the highest quality. Like I said, and Insomniac fucking through full court hoops with this Ratchet and Clank game. You drop that thing to performance mode ray tracing, and it's the cleanest fucking 60 plus frames a second beautiful game that you'll probably ever see. And it has no loading time at all.
Yeah. It's impressive, to say the least.
Yeah. So and Xbox is doing the same thing. Most of their first party developers are doing this thing where it's like, well, they at least with like Xbox and Bethesda, they're like, we're gonna try and get everything out 4K 60. That way, if you play on anything lower than that, it's going to be above 60 frames and it's still going to look good. Minus Starfield.
But the big thing about that too is that since most game development platforms now are just like they're all x86 based as opposed to being like proprietary, like with the PS3. I feel like the first party versus third party argument loses validity, and I feel like it's just now it's just kind of a crutch. Like honestly, we know that there are things in games now, especially on the horizon, no pun intended, that will allow smaller developers to have higher quality games, when like was shown when we saw the Unreal demo a couple weeks ago. So.
Yeah.
It's so impressive.
Yeah, and we were talking about this on like I don't know if it was it was either last week's or the week before. How when they showed the Horizon Forbidden West like trailer, after that trailer had released, there was like a French like news outlet that was like they had interviews with the people at Guerrilla Games. They stated that it's gonna be the game because you saw some from frame drops in the trailer and everything, but they did say there will be a performance mode that will be based at like 60 frames a second, and that the PS4 version is actually going to be completely different from the PS5 version. That way they're pretty much making two different versions of the game, so that the PS5 version doesn't get held back by like the PS4 pretty much.
I respect it.
That's a correct call.
A lot of like the underwater stuff that they showed in the Horizon, that's all like pre-rendered cutscene in the PS4 version, and not actual gameplay. So, and the water is rendered completely differently in the PS4 version than it is in the PS5 version. So it's their
decision too. So you don't go like, oh, remember that the water scenes on PS4? They just played like shit. They just just circumvent that.
Yeah. Microsoft Flight Simulator, they showed that off. That always looks really good. There's a Top Gun crossover with it, so you get to fly jets. In that Battlefield 20.
Sorry.
You just get the fly, unfortunately. Battlefield 2042 looks good. It just sucks.
Amazing.
Just sucks. There's no campaign in it. And then
they would put a woman in it, and then everyone on the internet would have freaked out. So they just said, "Fuck it, just make it only multiplayer."
Yeah. The last thing they showed was Arcane Austin's next game, which is Redfall. It looks to be like a 4-player, kind of like a horde shooter type, kind of something maybe like a more cartoonier Left 4 Dead. Looks like.
Yeah, it's Left 4 Dead with vampires and a different aesthetic. Well, a slightly different aesthetic, to be honest. I don't hate that idea. I mean, love Left 4 Dead, so.
Yeah. Yeah, no. It looked pretty nice. So overall, Xbox had a pretty good performance.
Wait a minute.
Genuinely came out really.
There are more games.
Or I mean, yeah, there was 30 games that they showed, but this is what the list had.
Okay,
well, this is the big.
I'll bring up a couple of the honorable mentions I had from there too.
Okay.
So I don't read spoilers anymore because I'm lazy. I didn't know Diablo 2 had a release date. I was super excited and said, "Holy shit!" So I Google it, and then it's like 4 days ago, and I was like, "God damn it!" Of course, but that's exciting. Slime Rancher 2. I played Slime Rancher 1 with my niece. She was like, we watched the game trailers together because she liked watching them. And I showed her the Slime Rancher one right away. She said, "Is this Slime Rancher?" And I was like, "Just wait." She saw the 2. She can't read, but she saw 2 and went, "Wait, is this Slime Rancher 2?" And I was like, "Yep." Yep. We're going to play the hell out of this game. Yeah. And then there was that one game they showed. It was called Replaced. And it was like one of those like pixely-ish games. The combat in the game looks amazing, by the way. Yeah, really, really stylish, really cool, good music. It's what you expect from these kind of games because like Hotline Miami kind of set the precedence of having like synthwave soundtracks with like pixel graphics. But yeah, Replaced looked really good. The game I'm surprised you did not have on this list, Aqua, Ayuden Chronicle Rising, and the other Ayuden Chronicle game.
So
you don't mean Rising. You're specifically talking about like the 100-Year War.
Yeah, he's well, I mean, either way, he's talking about Ayuden Chronicles anyway. The reason why I don't remember is because I didn't finish Octopath Traveler, and it just looks like Octopath Traveler mixed with Suikoden.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the Suikoden people, so
yeah. And I didn't play Suikoden either, so I'm not too entirely like interested.
Yeah, I don't know. The two games look like the gameplay is like different enough to where I'm kind of
it does.
Yeah. I'm wondering where the fuck Rising came from because like that was like left field because they talked about like a year and a half ago where they're making this the Suikoden team's making this new game, and then they're like, oh, by the way, we're making a game that's coming out before this game.
Yeah, it was just like it was a little bit out of left field, but of what I saw of it, I love it, dude. I'm such a fan of that Octopath-esque style where you're doing that engine like in Unreal and you have that really nice deep FOV. It's
modern.
It's really stylish and really cool.
It's modern and nostalgic all at the same time. It's something that it's like those are two words that just shouldn't fit together. But yeah, like it looks amazing. It's the same thing I've said about Octopath. It's the same thing I said about Triangle Strategy currently. I think it's what it's called.
Project Triangle Strategy.
Yeah. So like those games are just very, very neat.
When I see actual gameplay of the game, I'll form a more coherent opinion on it, on if I'll ever get it or not. But everything's been so stylized cutscene.
I mean, I don't think Aiden Aiden Chronicles was fully not well. Obviously, it wasn't CG, but I don't think.
Well, I mean, it's been rehearsed cutscene.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's like the Battlefield thing. Those are technically in engine, but we call it like massaged in engine. You know,
when I mean more like actual gameplay, I just mean I want to see raw, unedited somebody doing a battle.
Fair enough. I mean, I can't complain about that. That is always like the end goal.
Because I got halfway through Octopath Traveler and I fell asleep. It was
funny enough. That's the reason I never picked it up. I was really excited going into that, and I watched a couple people play through it, and I was like, I feel like I'm not going to be able to make it through all the way.
It's not very engaging.
It's like Bravely Default 2, sadly. It's a game where if you marathon through it, you're going to play it and you're going to say, oh, that was enjoyable. But if you play it and then you leave it for a few days, your desire to play the game will diminish over time.
Yeah.
And it's the same reason why like I was going at Bravely Default 2 like crazy, and then I got to chapter 4 and I was like, I'm going to take a week off and do some other stuff, and then I've never touched the game since. And and I feel like if I do, I'm just going to be kind of turned off by the pace,
Fair.
Yeah. Next we have Square Enix, which everybody was like on their edge because they wanted a really good Square Enix conference. They didn't really get a really good Square Enix conference. Everything that they showed was kind of
itself was actually awful.
It was really good. No,
the substance of the conference was not as bad as people kept saying it was.
No,
honestly, the way it was laid out was absolutely terrible.
Yeah. So the way I think I kept saying was, wow, that was a really great Disney presentation. So Square Enix, right? But that's the price you pay to have really, really lucrative IPs.
Yeah.
Is that you get Kingdom Hearts, where Kingdom Hearts 3, it's just all Disney, right? And so Square Enix probably would have loved to be able to show more of Strangers of Paradise, or if COVID didn't happen, they probably would have been glad to show a little bit more of 16. But because of working with Disney, with Marvel, that they're saying, okay, well, you guys are going to do a presentation. How long is it going to be? 45 minutes? Okay, well, we have to have half of that. It's that's just the way it works. We need half of that.
Yeah.
And that's why, Guardians of the Galaxy got an 11-minute gameplay section shown,
The problem with that, it was an 11-minute gameplay after like 7 minutes of talking.
Yeah, the talking was a lot. I am glad they showed the gameplay though, because initial reactions to the art style. I was actually very pleased that they went more with the comic book designs rather than the movie designs of the characters. That was good. But I was glad they showed gameplay and how you interacted with the other members of the group, because I did like the little turn wheel selection that you had. That was alright.
Yeah. I would have been really afraid if because they did announce that it was coming out in October, right? I would have been really afraid if they did that and then went on to something else and not showed gameplay, because I'd have been like, okay, this is going to be another Avengers, because this game probably is going to look really ass. And it doesn't look.
There is that fear.
It doesn't look the best, but I think it looks like it'll probably be a fun game.
It's the one thing I have to disagree with Evan on earlier, and I don't even think he meant it terribly maliciously. I am actually still super excited about this game.
Yeah.
Maybe not super excited, but I do look forward to it. I thought it was, I think it looks like a really fun game. But you are right. There were obviously visual inconsistencies.
I have some other issues
Mm-hmm.
with it. Mainly one issue I have is, so I wish the jokes were better. Because if you watch like Marvel movies, the jokes are, some of them aren't even like that good, but they hit, you know?
Mm.
And in this game, it felt like someone showed me all the Marvel movies and said, all right, Evan, go write this game and come up with some jokes. And I wrote some jokes and I'm like, yeah, that's like a pretty good Avengers joke. And then it's just like, it hits and everyone goes like, oh, nope, swing and a miss. Sorry, buddy. And that's how a lot of the jokes felt. I was like, man, they should have really tried to hand this game off to some, the people that maybe do a lot, maybe pay the Russos or hand it off to someone else and have them kind of work on it a little bit, punch up the script, get maybe some comedy writers and do that. Because I feel like
there's got to be a budget.
Well, yeah, you're not going to get the Russos, but remember,
how much you pay to punch up
Disney's a think tank. Like it's more than just the Russos sitting. I'm sure they'll say they are, or that other people will say they are. It's rooms, plural, full of writers that end up walking in and out and having things to do with these movies. So I don't think it's impossible to hire on someone who's had something to do with the Disney movie making machine.
Yeah, and it happens in every other medium. Like if you're a comedian, eventually you'll have people write your jokes. If you're on a show and you're coming up, if you're piloting a show or you're writing, you'll hire people to punch up your script. If you're writing a movie, you're going to hire people a lot of times to punch up your script so that the jokes work. And because comedians they're not requiring you to pay them $40,000 to punch up your script, unless they're big. So yeah, they could do it. I feel like they could do it because I felt like all the humor missed in that in the gameplay and in the trailer they showed. All of it.
I don't know that I think all the humor missed, but yeah, no. I think to your credit, I definitely think that there are some duds, a few duds, but I think on the whole, it was enough of all the Marvel games that have come out recently, I'm still probably gonna pick this one up. Wherein I saw Avengers immediately for what it was, and I stayed well away from it.
Speaking of Avengers, they showed the roadmap for Avengers and they showed a bunch of stuff. Nobody cares, but everything's for free. So if you already own the game, then you get to play it for free.
It's true. Both those sentiments are accurate.
They're talking about the dead Black Panthers, and I was like, too soon. Too soon.
Too soon.
You can't do it. Come
on. Honestly, yeah, they probably should have skipped Black Panther for at least a year and a half.
No. I definitely don't think so. It might come. I don't know. I don't think it necessarily comes off as tasteless either. Remember, there is a community that looks up to him, and he is their singular Black hero.
Yeah.
There are others people like Falcon, but there has not been a hero to drive that home like T'Challa in ever.
And
I can think of is Jon Stewart in the Justice League and Static, and those are 20 years old.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say when I said the thing I was saying was that I don't think they shouldn't do Black Panther. I was mainly just making a joke. Yeah. Because the thing about that game is it's divorced from the MCU, so it's not their Black Panther's not Chadwick Boseman.
No,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
They showed Final Fantasy Pixel remasters of 1 through 6, which is probably good because now there will be a playable version of 6 on Steam. Hopefully.
I hate what they did with that. I hate it.
Yeah.
They literally did. I think they showed it the way they did just to piss off Final Fantasy fans. Because, after Dragon Quest 3, that remake in the Octopath engine, I was like, awesome. This means Square Enix knows we want this, and they're going to be developing the older Final Fantasy games the same way. And then they said Pixel Remaster, and they didn't show us a lick of anything. And I was like, oh my God, if this comes out and it's not the Octopath engine, I'm gonna be disappointed.
No,
But they haven't said anything, so it's just me conflating a situation in my head and disappointing myself ultimately.
I think you're right to have that worry because I was talking with someone. I don't know if it was in this call at the time or if I was just talking to like Kobe or Luke or I don't know who it was. But this is what I was saying is that this is great in theory, but because they're going 1 to 6, I do not think these are going to be high quality ports. I think what they are going to do is sharpen up the edges and maybe drop in a couple of new sprites for certain characters. I do not think they're getting the Octopath treatment, and I think you're right to be mad about that. And I think you're right to be mad about that exactly because Dragon Quest is.
Yeah.
And I mean, I you really don't need another new Final Fantasy 1. It's been done 3 times. 2 is best left forgotten at the moment. So sue me, guys. I don't like 2. 3 has already been remade in 3D.
No, they need to remake 3 because the remake of 3D the remake of 3 is the slowest video game I've ever played.
I can't fault you for that. I'll be honest, I don't think Base 3 was any better. I think it's pretty true to 3 in that regard. 4
Base
got
3 felt better in retrospect when I went back and played DS3. I was like, okay, this is way slower.
Maybe. But anyways, the point is 1 and 2 don't need to be like remastered. They well, again, they've already been remastered. Leave them as they are, the older titles. 3, 4, and just 3 and 4 have been, had the pump up cheapify 3Ds. 5 and 6 need some like proper love, especially 6. It's the game everyone refers to when they say the next game to be treated well.
The only word that puts a deep fear in me in these remasters is the word mobile, and their mobile parts haven't always been that great. So that's what worries me.
I played the remake on Steam, and it is still built for mobile, and it's super annoying because the UI.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like I would either have had them just make a version of 5 that was like 3 and 4, and preferably leave 6 for the next 7 remake thing, or just like properly turn 5 and 6 into the Octopath stuff. I think what we're gonna get is the SNES games that look better. Which I mean, there's no shame in that, but that's not what people want right now.
I think we'll get, at least for 1 and 2's sake, I think we might get 1 and 2 PSP ports over to Steam. And that would be okay because those ones are actually playable.
Yeah,
don't exist on Steam,
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Legend of Mana remaster, I don't think we'll have this problem because it's
no.
PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC.
They're putting money
Steam on this one.
They're putting money behind everything that isn't Final Fantasy, except for the last thing that got announced.
I'm sorry, I have to go back to the collection again. I think because I was on Reddit yesterday, and someone else pointed out something that my smooth brain didn't even think of. These are not coming to consoles. How are you not bringing these to consoles? How are you not tossing these up for like $9 on everything?
Yeah. This is why I say, it's mobile and Steam.
Yeah, I didn't. No. It didn't dawn on me what you meant by that, but that is such a good point.
Yeah.
Who knows? Legend of Mana, a remaster, comes out this month actually on the 24th. PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Those are getting money put behind it. So like the remake of the one, what's the one I have? The Legend of what? Or Secret of Mana? I think that's one. That remake. That one was actually really good. So
I've never played games before.
It's pretty good. I didn't beat it, but like I mean, there's definitely they're putting money behind everything that isn't Final Fantasy at the moment. At least in like past games, that isn't what was announced last. Life is Strange remaster collection comes out September 30th, and then the third Life is Strange game comes out in September 10th.
Good for these fans. They have so much to look forward to.
Yeah.
As a Star Trek fan, when I saw the new game, I was like, "Oh shit, dude! The new main character is a Betazoid. It's an empath." So I was pretty stoked. Except for the only empaths you ever see in Star Trek, at least in Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, they all suck. So I mean,
it's
it is
Troy and her mother, right?
yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are interesting. I have Life is Strange 1, but I've never played it.
I watched someone play it, but yeah, it's not my cup of tea personally.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then the last thing they showed out was what got leaked like 2 weeks before E3. Square Enix of Japan teamed up with Team Ninja. And what it looks like is that they're making a Final Fantasy 1 remake, but in the style of a Souls game called Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin.
You know,
They
game
showed
we
a
might have
trailer.
spent, like 40 minutes talking about.
They showed a trailer. Yeah, we spent like 40 minutes. So they showed a trailer, and it sucked. The trailer sucked.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
It spawned a
And to top it
meme.
off, yeah. Oh yeah.
Memes.
Very many memes. The
Oh,
chaos
memes are
meme.
great.
Chaos. And then on top of that, the demo, the trial version didn't work.
The
Oh,
thing
yeah.
that would have bailed
For a
them
long
out
time.
a little bit just didn't work on
Yeah,
on
for
launch.
2 days. For 2 days, the trial did not work. It was corrupted on download for everybody. So
I'll say this now that I've cooled off on the game a bit, because I came in pretty heated on it. I'll give it this. I understand. I do that this is not a main series title, and it is a chance for a secondary team to work with Square and just kind of cut loose and do new things. But come on, man, you have to throw us a bone. You can't, like, I'm sure they understood that they were going to get blowback for that, and I'm not just going to sit here and I'm not just going to blame Nomura, because I know that's been popular and I know a lot of people are springing to his defense. I think everyone defending Nomura can just get fucking lost. Does not need to be defended. He's rich and he has an incredible amount of sway in Square. He'll be fine fending for himself. Thanks. What I will blame is Nomura and Nojima, because all these references to Kingdom Hearts is because that's what these two do. That's what these two do. It's why that game sounds the way it does. They have hyper focused on one concept, not a theme, just a concept.
Yep.
So I do have some worries for the narrative.
At least gameplay.
Yeah, the gameplay. The other side of that is it's Team Ninja, and according to Aqua, who has played the demo, it's a Neo game, and the Neo games are pretty good. So fantastic. There's hope.
And that was all for Square.
Yep.
It was a middling performance, but at least it was better than Capcom. The next day we had, or actually the same day, I think, Warner Bros. They just showed off Back 4 Blood. They showed off the Swarm mode, confirmed that the open beta will begin on August 5th. Everybody that pre-orders the game can play in the beta. The game will fully release on October 12th. So if you like
Very
Left 4
cool.
Dead, you're going to like Back 4 Blood.
Shit, actually,
PC.
there was
What?
one more Square Enix.
There was?
Yeah, Babylon's
Are you-
Fall.
Oh
Platinum
my
Games.
god! So
No.
Evan,
I
Evan, be
forgot about that.
even with me here, because you watched it. That video looked jank as hell, right? Like visually, it just looked.
The voice acting is the best voice acting ever.
It's spectacular. Babylon's Fall. But no, like level with me. I'm not insane. Like the actual quality of the imagery was really fucking weird.
It
yeah?
reminds me of when we see pre-release footage of Final Fantasy 14 at Live Letters, where everything's like way darker, and you can tell there's no
the AI.
thing.
Yeah, the AA is like non-existent.
There's like no ambient occlusion. Like all the bells and whistles are turned off, and so yeah, it looked weird. It ran weird. And I'm like, it's Platinum Games, so it has to at least play well. But I don't know, dude.
And then they said live service.
Like,
Oh
yeah, that game was such a turnoff that I kind of just threw it from my mind. That was a jank presentation. I don't know if I.
Yeah, no, it was bad.
I don't know, if
and that's why I
that's
didn't even
either-
think about it.
I just want to bring up how bad the voice acting was, because I watched the trailer like 5 times, laughing the entire time. It's really good.
Who's the next one to enter Barony at Babylon's Fall?
I
I don't even know what they're saying. It sounds like they're grumbling, but I think they're
Oh.
talking.
Oh yeah, the one at the end with the Bloodborne, the like Dark Souls esque king looking character. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was hard to hear.
I did sign up for the closed beta, so
Same here.
maybe I'll get into it.
Talk shit. Yeah, but I signed up for the beta, definitely.
PC Game Show. I actually didn't watch this, mainly because I didn't want to see Day 9 get attacked by a robot again. They showed new gameplay footage for 2 Point Campus. Over some Overcooked stuff, some Dying Light 2. Gabe Newell announced Steam's next fest. It'll begin on June 16th and go to June 20th.
Celebration of demos. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Hello Neighbor 2 trailer. Sonic Colors Ultimate gameplay showed, which I felt was weird to show at a PC game show. I was like, I mean,
Yeah.
And Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song trailer.
Oh
hate
boy,
that.
Yeah,
Nick does
so
not like it.
I like White Wolf. I like White Wolf tabletop games. I like Vampire the Masquerade. Every single fucking vampire in that trailer broke the masquerade. What the hell?
She was so distracted about that trailer because it's
I was
what
like,
she
no,
realized.
what
Like,
are you
no,
doing? You're
don't get to
fighting in
do
the
this.
streets with your vampire powers. You're drinking people in a public place. What the fuck are you doing? Oh my god. Yeah, I just like, yeah, whatever.
So this site has a thing that everything else that was on the E3 Monday, which was Take-Two. They had a panel for discussion diversity. They did not show GTA 6.
Well, Jeff Keighley even said that going in. I'm like, he's like, it's not about GTA. It's about, representation.
Yeah. They had an indie showcase. Then they showed some indie games. Verizon had a keynote presentation where they showed the power of 5G for gaming. Razer talked about their mask and some peripherals.
I am so surprised how many people went from I'm interested to I'm in.
The mask looks really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Now, I'm being optimistic here, but in 6 months, maybe not even, maybe 3 or 4 more months.
Oh no, you're not going to need it.
No, so you're
but
never going to use it again. Now, if cosplayers are excited, I understand.
Hey,
if scene kids are into it, I understand. But like, this is going to be something that's literally a paperweight in like 3 or 4 months.
I didn't need a PS5. I wanted it.
Oh,
God. People didn't need 3D or VR headsets. They got them too.
Man. I can't even argue with that.
And actually,
a solid point.
Did any of you guys, speaking of the PC gaming show, didn't you guys see the Sacrifier trailer?
No, I didn't watch anything PC game show. That I took a break that day. I was tired.
The game, if you that's another like one of those deep FOV ish looking like games as well, and it's kind of cool. There's like your weapon can be like almost any weapon, it looks like, in the game, and supposedly it's like a Kickstarter. It was a Kickstarter game or something like that.
Oh,
but it looks surprisingly good.
I'll have to take a look at it.
What did you say it was called again?
Sacrifier, and the music is done by Motoi Sakuraba. So they got a big name.
Oh, Sakuraba, yeah, I know
they got
that
a big name on the music. So,
no, that's really sick. You love to hear it.
And then Capcom showed nothing.
Christ.
We'll move on from that.
I can't believe that we went from Square Enix is easily the worst outing we've seen in the last 10 years to Capcom just coming out and going, okay, guys, look, we know we hyped it up yesterday on Twitter, but we don't really have it.
Capcom literally showed trailers for games that we already knew existed.
Well, I mean,
Capcom also had they said thank you for playing Resident Evil 8.
Yeah. Thank you for thirsting over our hot vampire lady.
we have just started on DLC for that. There was Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, a trailer.
So
Rise was going to have like a collab event again, and
Yep.
oh right, no. So this is kind of a big deal. And I'm gonna give them their due. I don't like these games at all. I'm very bad at them, and I don't enjoy them. But the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is fantastic that that's finally coming over because people have been relying on like fan translations on that for ages.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
But practically speaking, Capcom brought nothing to the table. This is true.
Capcom, where's Dragon's Dogma 2? We know he's working on it. We know he is.
So,
It's
funny
in his
story.
contract.
Yeah, so it's definitely in his contract. I don't know that he started on that yet.
He had to have. He's had to have. It's already like it was on the list that was like leaked for Capcom.
Well, yes, but hear me out. If you have just wrapped up on a title, and granted, they've probably started a bit before COVID, but do you start a new project during this?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Not continue on a project that you've been working on for the last 3 years. Do you?
They're not doing
wrap-
anything with DMC5 anymore. Literally, after DMC5 was done, he was to work on Dragon's Dogma.
But that doesn't necessarily mean he began immediately.
There's no chance he's not working. What are they going to pay him to do nothing?
Yes, I hate to say it.
No, they're working on it. They may not have gotten any earnest development in on it, but I'm pretty sure he's probably got most
This
of it
is
laid
exactly my
out.
point. He grabbed his team. He had a lot of people think about things. COVID hit, and they're like, "Hey, yo, guys, just not right now. Let's focus on what we have. Let's get that out the door. Once things are cool, we'll bring everyone back in, and we can start again."
That list came out after COVID, by the way.
I know. This is kind of my point. we already knew that he was going to work on it because I think the moment Devil May Cry 5 dropped, we already knew what his requirements were. We knew that in order for them to get him back for this, they had to let him work on his other child.
Yeah, I mean, I still think you don't stop developing just because the pandemic broke out.
I don't think they had anything to show from that. I don't even.
Well,
think
no, they
there's
probably don't
free-
have
free
anything to show.
alpha stuff to show from it. I don't even think there's a title like Outer Worlds to show for it.
I mean, it's going to
I
be called
think there's
Dragon's
a-
Dogma 2.
I think there's a script and a bunch of guys smoking and drinking coffee, wondering how to make that work.
But even other developers just fucking throw a name out on stage.
Yeah. Okay. So if you just mean why didn't they come out and say words, then yeah. I agree
Yeah.
with you.
They didn't say anything during their conference. They just showed like four trailers, and that was it. One game was already out. 2 games are already out. 2 games are coming out.
Yeah. I mean, I can't fault you on that. It was like I said, I'm not here to defend Capcom. That was a weak performance, and it somehow saved Square because people are still saying Square has like the worst. Like
Square at least announced like new things.
It's true, but it was.
They released a demo for fuck's sake.
It's
true.
No, demo wasn't bad. I mean, like their conference was.
Hey man,
bad.
Capcom's releasing a demo too. Aqua.
What?
Monster Hunter Stories 2, dude. Demo June 25th. Come on, dude. They released a demo. That game actually has me interested in Monster Hunter because every time I play Monster Hunter, I regret it.
We already knew about stories though.
It's true. To be fair, I actually thought that game came out already. I thought that game launched. I don't know why I thought this.
There was a trailer. That's all I was. Or, there is a demo. That's all I was stating. There's a demo. It does exist.
Okay, so apparently other people knew about like there being a Guardians of the Galaxy game in the works somewhere or whatever.
Oh,
but I was blindsided by that. Yeah,
no, I haven't heard a thing.
Like other reactions that I saw, I was like, what the fuck, Guardians of the Galaxy?
I'm gonna tell you this right now.
What?
So video games are made by teams of people. So there are a lot of people that knew this game was happening.
You know what I mean? I mean people that just do fucking podcasts, man. Like apparently there was some talks about it like 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah, no, that went over my head, or at least I've forgotten about it since if I ever knew about it to begin with.
Yeah. Bamco did a one game presentation where they
What a
talked about
choice.
a horror game called A House of Ashes, and I didn't even watch it because as soon as I saw it was one game, I was like, you're not even going to throw some trailers out, like
You
even if
know,
it's trailers that everybody have already seen.
the lead up to their conference, they showed a bunch of stuff about Scarlet Nexus that had already
Yep.
been released. But I was like, the stuff
Oh.
before their show was more interesting. I was like, oh, there's a My Hero Academia 2 fighting game. Okay, I was learning stuff there, and then I saw the presentation, and they're like, it's some horror game, and I was like, yeah, I literally couldn't care less. Okay, like
Bamco legitimately has a rich catalog. I don't think all their goods, all their games are very good. I think a lot of them are very
Yeah.
cheaply made, but they
Uh-huh.
have so many games that they could talk about. This was a weird choice.
They could have talked about Scarlet Nexus. That game
Yeah.
comes out next week.
yep,
Scarlet
and I'm
Nexus,
skipping it.
Tales of Arise, Elden,
Elden Ring.
technically even Smash, though there's no way Nintendo is going to let them talk about Smash to any degree.
Actually, some of the developers that are working on Scarlet Nexus work on Smash.
Oh, all right, that's
Interesting.
neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't
So-
guess that at all.
Man.
And you guys already talked about the Nintendo Direct, so
But let's talk
Well,
about
no,
it again.
we didn't talk about the Nintendo Direct. We had a reaction to the Nintendo Direct because, like, some of us, we didn't talk about it.
Oh, did
Um,
you watch it? Did you watch it? What did you think about
I
it?
watched it with my niece, and she was like, so what games do these come out on the Switch? And I was like, all of them.
All of them.
Literally all of them.
Ah,
All of them. They all come out on the Switch.
Oh, bless
She
her
thought
heart.
because she has another uncle, and she goes, so can Uncle Nolan play these games on Xbox? And I was like, nope. He has to have the Switch, so he has to ask you if he wants to play them.
yeah.
Wow. You just gave her a lot of power.
Dalet's happy because they're putting in Kazuya into
I'll be honest, I love
Smash Ultimate.
pretty much everything they showed, even the
That-
games that
it's
I'm
good
not,
to
That
see.
trailer
not
was-
interested in.
I'm
Just
actually at the
throwing people
moment-
off a cliff.
Yeah, I'm
I was
actually
like, yeah.
at this very moment in time while you were talking about stuff I wasn't interested in. I'm actually guilty of making a meme right now.
Fantastic. Nintendo is too powerful. They must be stopped.
Yeah.
Specifically, the art team of Smash. These characters in this game look so good, and their little short trailers are of such high quality. Like, it's so impressive.
Like when a Street Fighter character looks better in Smash than it does in the fucking actual game.
I like hot take. I don't think Ryu and Ken have ever looked that good in any of them, including the sprite ones. I quite like Ken and Ryu's alpha designs,
Yeah.
but I
But
don't
they're
think they've
designed for
ever
the
looked
X3.
Anyway, Nintendo is doing a Tekken versus Street Fighter video game before Bamco does one. Square Enix, Guardians of the Galaxy, it will be launching on the Switch, which I think is a huge mistake because that game is definitely going to play ass on the Switch.
blew my
Oh,
mind.
yeah. Metroid 5 is coming out before Metroid 4,
And it looks
Um,
good.
and it
Those
looks
look good.
good. There was a Worms game,
Yeah.
which Leak freaked out over.
Hey, this is
I've been a
great.
fan of holy
Demand is very
grenades.
powerful. Nostalgia's powerful stuff.
Nostalgia's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Quain's a hell of a drug. There are going to be some additional content for Mario Golf.
Mhm.
Dude, that game looks amazing, by the way.
It
Yeah, that
does,
game
isn't
does
it?
look pretty
Yeah,
good.
Genuinely
yeah.
does.
This was leaked by Atlas the week before E3. SMT5
Never
exclusively Switch.
played a non-Persona Shin Megami
Me either.
game. And
either.
I've always wanted to, like with was a Devil Summoner and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but I just never got around to it. And maybe one day.
I gave a
That
crack.
requires me to have
years and
Nintendo
years.
systems.
and years ago, Digital Devil Saga, the one with Dante, for that reason. Like
Nocturne
they,
featuring Dante from Devil May Cry.
But
Yeah.
I bid on that because at that time I think I had played one and two. I don't think three was out yet. Maybe even three. I don't know. But yeah, that was my jam. I was like, yeah, absolutely. I didn't get very far. I just didn't. And I've
coming
never
out.
beaten a Persona game, so I'm
Yeah,
getting close.
yeah.
I came real close to beating 5. Like I could literally do it with a CD, but I just decided, you know what, Leak, you enjoy it.
I've beaten one Persona game and it is 5. I will one day beat Strikers. But I'm swimming in too many games to play games.
Shin Megami Tensei 5 looks great.
Yep.
Like, it's super stylized, and I mean, I loved it. Persona. I really enjoy the way they do their art design. It looks amazing.
Yep.
And I have conflicted feelings about the protag, so that's neat.
Yep.
I guess.
Come with me. Woo!
Comes out November 12th. Right in lieu of man, it sucks for Sly because he's a huge SMT and Persona fan. That this game is coming out literally 7 days before fucking Endwalker comes out.
Yeah. You've got 1 week, Sly. You got to do everything in it.
America, two games in 2 weeks.
Yeah. New WarriorWare game,
Woo.
which looked really fun.
Yes. Like WarioWare in ages. I love those stupid little mini games. I love them. Same reason why I like Rhythm Paradise or Rhythm Heaven, where the localization name is in each place. But still, yeah, give me silly mini games. Love it.
Oh yeah.
They showed a trailer for Skyward Sword, and you need a $25 amiibo to have fast travel in that game.
The game everyone's excited for the most.
Yeah. The 11-year-old game that you had to pay $60 for, and then an extra $25 to get an amiibo, which they're sold out now, so you're going to be paying more than $25. Yeah. And then they showed a brief trailer of they showed the Game & Watch thing.
They did. That was interesting. I'm not sure what to make of it yet until I see a price.
They brought back the watch functionality, and I'm happy about that.
Well, good for you.
And then they showed a brief trailer of Breath of the Wild and said it wasn't that they were aiming for 2022, which I don't believe it's coming out in 2022. If it is coming out in 2022, it's going to be the ass end of it where it has to be Game of the Year for 2023.
I'm genuinely surprised they showed anything for Breath of the Wild 2, and it wasn't much, but I think this was the right call. Even if you don't have much to show for games like this that have been just announced for long enough to draw like fans into rabid hype machines, yeah, you got to show something, and I'm happy they.
Here's the problem. Here's one of the problems I have with Nintendo. Okay,
go on then.
They have all of these games, all right, that everybody is so wanting, all right, but they don't make them.
It's true.
Like this Metroid game is the first 2D Metroid game to come out in 19 years.
It's the first new Metroid game.
Oh, yeah, the first new Metroid game.
New 2D one.
Yeah, I think they said new 2D to come out in 19 years. All right.
Yeah.
How long has it been since Breath of the Wild 1 came out?
Long enough.
Like
I genuinely don't remember which year it was.
It was 2017.
2017? Yeah.
Yeah.
For the record, Bodeman and I both sad. We were both hoping for something with Xenoblade. We were hoping.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
We were hoping.
I'd love to see a Xenoblade 3.
Honestly, if a Xenoblade got announced, I may have sat and been like, all right, Sib, I might not sell you my fucking Switch.
Oh, you just have to watch me play it. That's it.
Yeah, true. I'll just watch you play
what we've been saying. So
yeah.
Oh, Evan's 700 hours into his playthrough of Xenoblade Chronicles X2. You know.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I have my Wii U. I can still play X, but I won't do that. I won't do that because I have to hook up my fucking Wii U.
So,
but yeah,
hey Nintendo, you've been very
make
good
games.
You've been very good to the Legend of Zelda fans. May I have a bit of Bayonetta 3, please?
That's Platinum you have to talk to, not Nintendo.
I don't care. I'm talking to both of them. Please.
Well, Nintendo's not going to do anything because Nintendo
4
doesn't do
years
anything.
ago.
Yeah.
Maybe it hasn't been 4 years, but God, it feels like forever.
That new Story of Seasons game, guys. Come on.
Oh well. I take back
I
what
mean,
said.
I only played Friends of Mineral Town, so.
And then what they have also the Advance Wars
Advance Wars looked really good.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what we skipped over? We skipped over Metal Slug as well.
Yeah.
Metal
That was
Slug was
I was
really
very
good.
excited, pleasantly surprised by that.
Yeah, I'm so used to the old Metal Slug style that I very much enjoy seeing its new direction, and also it looked amazing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't really fault us for skipping over things. Goodness gracious,
There's so
much to cover.
I actually need to go and play Like a Dragon because that's on Game Pass now. You know. Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to do. I have Zero. I have Zero on Steam. All right. So I'm gonna play Zero. All right. Actually, what do I have on Steam? Ah, fuck. Since I actually share my account with a friend, or we have like the family plan or whatever, I technically have Zero, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2. All right. What I was gonna do was
it's worth playing the entire game just to see it.
Yeah. I was gonna go through all of Zero, and then get Game Pass so I could download the rest of the games.
You're gonna be a very busy man if you try. Those games are fairly long. I mean,
yeah, they are.
But for your first play,
Man, I have 2 minutes. I have to beat Ratchet and Clank, which I think I'm almost done. I have to beat 7 Remake and then 7 Remake Integrate, and then the Yuffie DLC.
Many Tales games to play as well.
And then I have Scarlet Nexus. And then I have so many Tales games to play. I'm not gonna have a break until after I beat Arise.
You have so much so much to do.
I'm not gonna like touch Kuronoki Seki for a while.
Hey, it means you can just wait for the English release like the rest of us.
Well, I mean, no, I'll still when I have a break, I will import Kuro because I still need to beat Hajimari, and then
this is true. This is true. When are you gonna get around to doing that?
After Arise.
Fair enough.
And then I have a break between Arise and Endwalker. There's a brief, small break where I maybe finish Hajimari and then pick up a. You know what? In that time, I'll play some of the Yakuza games.
Sure.
You really should. I really need to as well. So
yeah,
because I set up through all of them, and then people on my stream were super excited. And then I played through Zero, and there was a point where the game kept crashing, and then it took all the wind out of my sails. So maybe I'll just play Like a Dragon, and one day maybe I'll play the others.
Yeah.
God, Like a Dragon is so funny.
I really want to kind of just skip them all and go play Like a Dragon because
brand new storyline, so you can play that as your first one.
I know. Yeah, but it has callbacks because there is a fight where there is a moment where you get to fight Majima, and he's just like,
okay, so play Zero until you meet Majima Goro, and then just go. Yeah.
Oh, I'm at the point in Zero where I'm playing as Majima.
Because the cutscene where you meet him at the start of that chapter.
Yeah, it's great.
Cutscenes in video games, it's incredible.
It doesn't matter. Every single game that he appears in, your first meeting with him per that game is magical every time.
Yeah. But that's it for our E3 talk. Because honestly, it was good. It was a good E3, but it was also a bad E3 at the same time.
It was just. It was nice to have it back. It felt like normal again briefly.
So
a little.
To cut back to Square, all right. There's a lot of Japanese games Japanese specific games, for Square that are going to be shown at TGS.
Of course.
So, you're going to see 16. You're going to see maybe an inkling of 7 Remake 2.
That'd be nice.
There'll be some Endwalker. What else? What else was Square? Oh, maybe another thing of Stranger of Paradise.
Yeah.
I imagine we'll see more about Project. What was it?
Triangle Strategy.
Triangle Strategy. Yeah.
Strategy. Yeah. You'll see more of that. So that's why Square's conferences was middling, because they want to focus on Western stuff when they're doing conferences like E3 or doing these like presents, because they know that they have big Japanese specific like conferences like TGS.
I think Gamescom's coming as well, and
yeah, to announce all of the stuff. So all this like good Final Fantasy stuff. So
yeah, because I was because the whole thing with E3 is I remember growing up and like after like in high school especially that's what inspired me and my buddies when we started when we did our gaming website and stuff like that. Because we used to get out of school, we go to my buddy Andrew's house, we'd go and order pizza or go to Wendy's, get a bunch of food, and we would just watch G4's E3 coverage and dream about going to E3 and how cool it would be. And I feel like E3, if you're a kid now or you're a teenager, E3 doesn't have that feeling. And it's one of those things that I feel like we are super lucky, like people in from their like mid 20s to like their 40s or 50s. We're lucky because it was magical then. Now it's not as much. Everyone's like, oh, well, here's all the leaks. Here's this. Or they're disillusioned, or they look at the negative parts of what's shown and they don't look at things, from other lenses. And I feel like we are very considerate that we were able to experience E3 in the way that we have.
Yeah, no, man, hearing you say that did bring back some nostalgic feelings. Chilling, just watching G4. Ooh. Thank you for that.
Yeah, back in my day. So yeah, so what we do after our big one topic talk, is we talk about what we're going to be playing in the next week.
Ooh.
So what are you going to be doing the next week, Evan?
I'm not going to be playing video games. I'm actually moving to become a monk, and I'm swearing off video games for my life.
Oh, that's unfortunate for you.
All right.
Stuff.
Yeah, can I have your stuff too?
I live close enough. I could drive down and pick it up.
No, honestly, in the next week, not too much anything new comes out. So I'm going to count the next week as the next 10 days instead of the next 7. Disguise, that's coming out. I'm going to play a lot of that game. Final Fantasy 14, still doing that. We're still doing, just WoW ratings still. But yeah, mainly just Disguise 6. I was gonna play Scarlet Nexus, but they come out too close, and Disguise got a place in my heart. So we're gonna do that for sure. Sometimes I touch other games like very minorly and kind of maybe play them a little bit, but yeah, honestly, that's probably it if I have to be completely honest. So
I do the same. That's why I have the ridiculous fucking backlog. I'll buy a game, play it for like a couple hours, and be like, okay, this was really good, but now I'm gonna go to this other game that I'm like been waiting for. Speaking of Scarlet Nexus, though, for people that don't know, if you played the demo is an inaccurate measurement of how that game is going to play.
Very bizarre.
So from there's a YouTuber named JayRPG. He had access to the first 3 hours of the game, and the game plays completely different from the demo.
Presented differently.
It's also presented different. You still have the the type of comic book-esque scenes, but they're not as much as you were presented as in the demo. And there are a lot of actual like cutscenes. You don't start off with a bunch of players in your party. You start off with one other person in your party. And it's not like the demo was like geared to show you how to use your like brain abilities and everything, and they had like all these like enemies specifically for that. It's gonna be completely different. The story starts out completely different. There's a full on cutscene before you even hit that tutorial area. Like showing how I forget what the main guy character's name is, but him and Kasane, how they even get their powers. Happens right before then, and like their whole branching like storylines are actually completely different. So if you're underwhelmed by like what you see in the demo, you kind of have to go on a leap of faith on this one when buying Scarlet Nexus, because what they showed you in it is just very inaccurate. But yeah, I'm picking up
but
that.
not like that.
I'm picking up that. I'm hopefully gonna get through Ratchet and Clank before then, which I should. I've been playing it in my off time. I'm not doing any like content or anything on it. Sometimes streaming it. Obviously 7 Remake. Getting through that slowly but surely. I'm doing a New Game Plus run of it, so it's going by a lot. I don't have to like worry about enemies like being like a block for me. My characters are 40 right now, so like Tifa's like 3 hitting shit. So and I mean 14 because I'm still doing relic stuff. So that'll be what I'll be playing.
Same old for me. Guilty Gear Strive and Monster Hunter, and I've also got Animal Crossing now, so I'm just pottering around in that. And probably 14 when I finally get my subscription up again. That's it. I will start Berseria someday.
Soon. Please look forward.
Yeah, very soon. Honest.
I am so sad we can't get recording of you playing that game.
I'm sorry. Impossible.
Because that's gonna be. I mean, okay. So while I'm very sad that we can't get recording of you playing that game, Dalit, if you do not record your experience with Zestiria, I will murder you.
All right, put it on me, why don't you?
Friendly.
Dalit, you got a good one, buddy. I'll be.
Yeah, you know, it's gonna be a shame when I just stop playing that and he kills me because it's so bad. Games I will be playing this week include Final Fantasy VII, because I also picked up Intergrade, so I need to play through that. I look forward to it. I will also play through the demo. I mean, I said a lot of very negative things, and that it's got to do something to change my mind. It's got to do something. So I'm putting a lot of faith into this gameplay. Aside from that, yeah, I'm on the Guilty Gear side of things. It's a really easy thing to do in between classes, and it's fighting games, and I like losing. So I'll do that. It'll be great. And I don't think I have anything else set up. I think that's really my entire plan. That class and this time next week, more of this.
Yeah. Next week we do have another guest coming on. We're going to be doing a Phantasy Star Online to New Genesis specific podcast next week. Yeah, we got Mark or KOEG. He's pretty much known in the PSO2 community as like one of the, honestly, like maybe the haps of the PSO2 community, pretty much.
You used to be a big Warframe guy too. Nice guy.
Yeah. He used to be a big Warframe.
Yeah.
I need his info then so I can do the thumbnail. Do I get to draw a robot? Oh, I hope so.
His character is not a robot. He usually has.
Okay.
He usually has a human character.
Okay.
Yeah, he was big on Warframe as well. He plays a little bit of 14. He's actually super chill with Lavrin as well, because Lavrin also used to be a big Warframe player.
Gotcha.
used to do a lot. He did some mobile stuff. That's actually I found out about him because he did FFBE for like a minute. But yeah, he's a really nice. Yeah, that should be an interesting podcast.
Look forward to hearing it.
Yeah, he's really cool. I linked him in the Perpetual Backlog chat.
Yeah, I better play some more Fantasy 7.
Yeah, I guess I'm adding that to my list of things I'll play this week, just to be sure.
I mean, I'll try it out. Like, I mean, not try it out, but I'll hop in a few times. Maybe I'm at a point where I need to get 1100 battle power to progress the story. So, and I'm not really wanting to grind stuff while it's lagging.
All right, fair enough.
So it's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, that's what we'll be doing next week.
Look forward to that next week. Always fun having new guests. Always fun having old guests. Thank you for coming, Evan.
Yeah.
I'm just here and I'm sick from that little human petri dish that I spend time with. And, so thanks for getting my mind off the fact that I'm not feeling great. So yeah.
Get well soon.
Hey, Evan, where can they find you on Twitch or anywhere really?
Just EvanVelez everywhere. There's an MMA fighter named EvanVelez. Don't mistake him with me. We don't look the same. But when I told him, he follows me on Twitter. He follows me. I follow him. I told him in League of Legends, whenever somebody shit talks me, I tell them to look me up on the internet and I link your thing, and then they don't want to fuck with me because they think I'm a fighter. So thank you.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, essentially just EvanVelez everywhere. I've been wanting to make some content because Aqua's kind of been inspiring that a little bit. I want to, I'm supposed to be a writer by trade, and I haven't written anything in like 5 years. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that I'm inspiring some people to do some stuff. I mean, that's just what happens. You get inspired to do stuff by certain people, and then you just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
It's so weird being on the other end of that. Oh.
All right. Well, let's wrap up, shall we? Because I actually have to leave the house soon.
Yeah, this is way too long of a podcast. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Before you go, remember to like, comment, and sub to us. Not only does it help out the channel and let us know what you're into, but it also makes you 100% cooler than everybody else. I checked with Aqua. It's definitely true.